Macon, Georgia, and everyone else around the world through the World Wide Web. This is the Morning Roast for Tuesday, June 25th, 2013. Can you smell what the roast is brewing?
Sorry, that wasn't the roast brewing.
Oh, my bad.
That was good. Good morning, everybody.
There was something else brewing.
Okay. Sir Martinez here, yours truly, DB, Derek Barrett. Behind the camera is Ed, Megan Karaoke Einbinder.
Yeah, and we continue our show despite it all.
Despite it all.
Despite it all. We've been going now close to a year. We're on our, what, 9th month?
Yeah, we're on our 9th month.
We're almost ready to break water.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to give birth.
There's something
God,
else.
can you imagine what it's going to look like?
No.
Woo, I don't even want to think.
But remember, there's afterbirth before.
That's all right. I'll come up with a good picture.
Yeah, it's 8:03 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time in Macon, Georgia. It's 70 degrees. It's sunny so far.
So far.
With a 70 degrees so far, partly cloudy with a high of 88 or 89 with a low of 71. There may be some scattered showers, so you may need your umbrellas later.
The clouds are gathering like the thugs on the street.
Yes.
Eventually, they're going to pounce.
Yes.
A lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
I got local news we'll start out with.
Mm-hmm.
Macon police officer resigns after drug charges filed.
Wow.
Now, this is a police officer that I have seen. I've always said hello to her and this and that. In this picture, she looks really, really down. I mean, I always saw her with a big-ass smile, and she was a nice one of the nice ones. And unfortunately for her, she has to resign. She's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, this is the update on Katrina Toomer.
That's correct.
The 5th police officer that was arrested this year.
It's amazing. I mean, I know these people, and it's very sad for me to see a picture here, but especially this one. A Macon police officer arrested on drug charges and child endangerment charges has resigned before the department decided her fate. Katrina Lynette Toomer submitted a letter of resignation according to the news release early Tuesday from the Macon Police Department. She is no longer employed by the Macon Police Department, the release stated. Toomer, 27, was arrested Thursday afternoon after a raid at her home in North Frontage Road in Forsyth. Police Internal Affairs officers took a gun, badge, and other police-related items while she was detained at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, according to the Sheriff's Office release. The Monroe County case is still under investigation, and the police are cooperating with the Sheriff's Office. Toomer, who is assigned to the department's Precinct 4, is the 5th Macon officer arrested in 2013. She was hired in 2010. Toomer is charged with possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute and child endangerment. Additional charges could be added. Horace Ray Wise, 30, also was charged in possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession with intent to distribute dangerous drug charges, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, child endangerment, and violation of probation as part of the Thursday raid, the Sheriff's Office said. Drug Task Force members found more than 11 pounds of 11 ounces, big difference, of marijuana packaged for sale, pills, a semi-automatic handgun, and more than $4,000 in the house. The children in the house were turned over to family members, and the Division of Family and Children's Services were notified.
What was the other
Very
guy's name?
sad.
Who was the other guy? Her boyfriend or whatever?
Her boyfriend was...
Horace Wise.
Yeah, Horace Ray Wise.
Horace was not very wise.
No. Obviously.
Real stupid. But it's very sad. She was...
horror story.
She was always downtown. She was part of Precinct 4. That would be, what, downtown, I guess. She was always downtown. And...
It's Precinct 4. Actually, ironically, that's near the mall. It's inside the mall, actually, precinct 4, the Macon Mall precinct.
Yeah, well,
But
I always saw it downtown.
Well, she could have moved around too. They move around.
Yeah, I always saw it downtown.
They changed precincts.
Very sad. But you know what? I mean, eventually this kind of stuff will catch up to you, especially when you're a police officer. But it goes to show you what we have been talking about is not some kind of an illusion. There are a lot of bad apples in that police department.
They've been going on for a long time. They're just starting to get caught now.
Yeah. And this is the fourth one. The fourth police officer, I believe.
You know, they say if you play with fire, eventually you're going to get burned.
See, it's the fifth one. Because you had like these two
tractor guys.
The two tractor guys.
And then the two guys, one with the gun and one with the other thing, and now this one.
Yes.
That's 5.
So they got it wrong. They said 4. It's 5. Okay. Anyway, very sad, and especially with this young lady. She was a very nice police officer. One of the ones that I actually liked. Terrible. Anyway, speaking of terrible, George Zimmerman's father cursed out one of George Zimmerman's friends, and now there's this whole bullshit now coming up. You know, the Trayvon Martin case is going on, and there's a lot of emotion going on with this case. And the two attorneys opened up, pretty ironic. The first attorney opened up with cursing, using...
Knock.
Yeah, well, that's the joke.
Yeah.
First it was the attorney for Trayvon Martin opening up using foul language, and then he pointed to Zimmerman and said, those are his words coming out of that grown man's mouth. And then, of course, there was a knock-knock joke, which fell flat and just knocked on the floor, so to speak. And the father, Trayvon Martin, was accused today of having cursed at a supporter, George Zimmerman. The accusation came up as Zimmerman's lawyer argued to have Martin's parents banned from the courtroom since Zimmerman's parents were not allowed to be present for the proceeding. If the judge declined, to order Martin's parents out, the lawyer asked that both sets of parents be allowed to be present. The dispute arose during the first day of the trial, in which Zimmerman, 29, is charged with the murder of Martin, who was 17 when he was killed in February 2012. Before the trial started, Judge Deborah Nelson ordered Zimmerman's family to leave the courtroom because they are on a prosecution's list of possible witnesses, and witnesses are barred from the court until they can testify. Martin's parents were allowed to stay because Florida law allows the immediate family of victims to remain in court. Defense attorney Mark O'Mara asked that the judge allow Zimmerman's parents to also be present. The lawyer said he was seeking an appropriate setting and said it was lopsided in favor of the state. In making his argument, O'Mara told the judge the jury was out of the room at the time, that Martin's father, Tracy Martin, had threatened and cursed at one of my client's family members. Tracy Martin could have be seen shaking her head at the suggestion. The judge said that she observed the courtroom audience and found that everybody had been very well behaved. So the incident that happened, it happened during recess. There you have it. They're trying to bar now the parents.
I see.
It's ridiculous, don't you think?
Very ridiculous. Very ridiculous.
So again, this whole trial, and you know, this is only... Today is only the second day. This is on the first day all the shit is happening. And they said it's going to take 2 to 4 weeks. So this is going to be better than the Arias trial. Believe me. It's going to be more emotional. For sure. Everybody knew Arias was guilty.
Oh, yeah.
I got a video from the opening statements.
Perfect.
Sure, go. Roll that.
Bring it on up, baby. Here's a video of the opening statements. Trayvon Martin. George Zimmerman trial. Oh, chatters are chatting away, baby. We're going to get to you chatters when we come back.
The evidence will show that this is a sad case, that there are no monsters here. Sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying. So let me, at considerable risk, let me say, I'd like to tell you a little joke. I know how that may sound a bit weird in this context under these circumstances, but I think you're the perfect audience for it. As long as you if you don't like it or you don't think it's funny or inappropriate, that you don't hold it against Mr. Zimmerman. You can hold it against me if you want, but not Mr. Zimmerman. I have your assurance you won't. Here's how it goes. Knock, knock. Who's there? George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman, who? All right, good. You're on the jury. Nothing? That's funny. After what you folks have been through the last 2 or 3 weeks?
So what was he thinking? This is a murder trial.
Right. Well, I think the point, to the extent there was a point, was that he's trying to say you shouldn't have any preconceived notions about who George Zimmerman is. If you say, George Zimmerman, who is he? You have an open mind. That means you should be on the jury. But obviously it was a terrible joke. In fairness, I don't think weeks from now, when the jury is deliberating on a lot of evidence they're going to hear, they're going to be thinking about this joke. But it certainly didn't help his client's cause.
Well,
That's something else.
all right. Now, let me just say this. To guest 56, obviously you've been chatting away and making a lot of opinions. Why don't you man up or woman up and come on with a real name before you start making all these accusations?
You didn't hear me.
Uh,
Urban.
And either way, Vorpalbite, let me just say this.
You're gonna get him.
The fact of the matter is, this kid was a 17-year-old, wasn't a baby. He was visiting his father.
Yes.
And yes, it's true, he was having trouble in school.
Yeah.
And like any good parent, if your son is having trouble, maybe he needed to spend some time with his father, because obviously he wasn't having it with his mother. And for you to assume, just like anything else, just like any other hater, to say that this young kid and that the father is to blame and all this other bullshit.
Just some BS.
Remember,
He's at
life
work like
happens.
most parents do for
Exactly.
a living. They go to work.
That's right,
No,
Vorpalbite.
the street is to blame because the kid didn't.
Anyway.
Miami.
And here's the thing. I mean, you obviously were banned from Vaughn for a reason, because you misbehaved. Just like anybody else. People just misbehave. It just happens. And so, you're the last guy that ought to be, judging people about good behavior when you can't even keep reining your tongue.
Yeah, you can't even take care of your cat because somebody killed it. Get a
Yeah.
dog next time. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a dog.
Yeah, you abandoning your cat, you dummy. That's why Obama killed
You
him.
don't know the facts why he was banned later.
Yeah.
He had nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with his mouth. I'll tell you later.
Oh, whatever. Okay. Anyway, but it's good to have you here. Either way, Vorpalbite. Everybody needs to know who you are. By the way, Zimmerman was an adult who was being irresponsible. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. That, like it was said, he wanted to be a cop. So obviously he was thinking all that about himself. And he went after this kid. He should have left him alone. And by the way, there have been phone calls. This is not Trayvon Martin's parents. This is not Trayvon Martin's attorneys. This is not anything. It is fact, and it is by the police, that George Zimmerman had been calling in all these phone calls, and it seems to him, or to Zimmerman that is, that all he was concerned about was black guys walking around his neighborhood. And every time he made a phone call, he referenced black guy, he referenced thug, he referenced all this other shit. So the guy already had a lot of hate in his heart. And knowing Hispanic individuals like myself and my parents and the history that they have, they hate black people. They just can't stand them. And so this is, believe me, this is something very familiar to me. Very familiar to me. Black people, Hispanic people cannot stand black people. And as a matter of fact, they're known as end lovers when they do, like me. Yeah, I was almost ostracized out of my family because I a lot of my friends were black. You know.
I need to side with you though. Just you can't condemn Trayvon's father. He was at work. He had no idea what was going on. He got to get the kid out of Miami because he got in trouble. You can't blame his father. His father had nothing to do with it. Now, the family breaking up between the father and the mother, whatever happened,
Yeah.
you know, and then the kid ends up hanging out on the street. That's where he picks up his bad habits. That's
Right.
all.
Yeah.
But Zimmerman was
He was a typical 17-year-old kid who really needed some guidance, no doubt about it. He had a broken family. Obviously, his father and mother, you know, they were in over their head, like most parents are.
Right.
And and you're right, Seafluck. Zimmerman does sound like he was a broken person who was afraid of the world, and so he wanted to be a cop. And yes, he did. If you're looking at the trial, or at least keeping up with it, that's the first thing that they talked about when they opened up the case. You know, how he was trying to be. You're only condemning Trayvon's father. No comment on Martin or Zimmerman. Well, you know, I don't know how Zimmerman was brought up, but remember, Zimmerman also had issues with his ex-girlfriend where they were hitting each other and punching each other and doing all sorts of stuff. They had to call restraining orders against each other. Once again, typical. A lot of, especially in the Hispanic community, you have that kind of stuff going on. My father used to beat my mom all the time. I mean, they have loose cannons. They like to hit women. And I'm not trying to stereotype here, but the fact of the matter is that just like anything else, it happens. It happens in that community a lot. And because I bared witness to it most of my life. And I went down from my father to my brother and all of them. All of them like to hit women. Except me. I always got beaten up by women. There you have it.
Well, talking about the calm before the storm. But speaking of storms, I have a story. Yeah, well, severe storms cause minor damage and some power outages. Severe storms have been prompted warnings for large hail and damaging winds yesterday afternoon in several central Georgia counties. There were some trucks that were coming by my neighborhood, actually. Neighborhood damage reports were received from Dodge, Houston, and Lawrence counties in the form of downed trees. Viewers also reported of a few trees that were down in parts of Bibb County. There was also several traffic lights flashing following the worst of the weather.
A house got crushed out in Lake Wildwood.
Yeah. Actually, I had one tree that went down, and luckily it wasn't the huge ones. It didn't destroy any property. It was just basically a tree that was basically just uprooted and just fell on its back. Just fell out. Georgia Power has reported nearly 1,500 customers in the dark in Macon and Bibb County with spotty outages in Monroe, Jones, Twiggs, Hancock, and Taylor counties. Flint Energies was also reporting spotty outages in Crawford and Taylor counties. According to Chief Meteorologist Jeff Cox from WJXA, scattered storms will be a part of Central Georgia's forecast for at least the next week.
Where was the power out?
Power outages, there were some spots in Macon-Bibb County.
Somebody
Here in Bibb
said
County.
Midtown Macon, too, for about an hour. But, you know, the trees and all that stuff, Public Works needs to go through and get all these bad trees, like that one there. That month's going to come down right on that motorhome, that trailer that those people just moved into.
I know.
This storm going to knock that tree down.
Oh,
Luckily, the house that got hit out at Lake Wildwood, nobody was home.
Yeah.
But yeah, those trees are getting old. They need to be trimmed. They need to be cut down. That's the Public Works.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I have another story related to that. There were lightning strikes on Eastman. A shocking experience Monday afternoon, for workers and customers at a Dodge County bank. The Eastman Fire Department confirms that the Citizens Bank of Eastman was struck by lightning during severe weather. And minor damage to the roof was reported, but there was no fire or smoke. Fortunately, no injuries were reported.
All right. Well, we got a couple of guests here, and they're doing all sorts of stuff to themselves this morning. And it seems like a whole bunch of them are going crazy here. I'm not going to ban you because the stuff that you're putting down is actually making me laugh. Good. You know. Okay, so LA Maker says Sunday the water pressure was low because they were working on it, but power hasn't gone out. Well,
Yeah, if we banned
just
it,
make
we'll
sure
be
you
back
boil
on.
that water. I don't know. I was just thinking about that, as a matter of fact. The room is kind of raunchy. What can I say? The room is always raunchy around here at the Morning Roast. We they're not to ban too many people anymore. We don't care. Let them go off. You guys have to look at it. Sometimes I just ignore the chatters when it comes to some of these guest guys, because to me they're not really here. They're just trolls.
I actually have some more stories. I guess, man, there must be some serious storms that was starting, lightning bolts are starting fires or something. Jeez. The Pulaski County home of Superior Court Judge Sarah Wall burned to the ground yesterday. The cause of the fire has been ruled undetermined. Firefighters responded to the Highway 23 West House around 10 a.m. Monday morning in Hawkinsville. The fire has caused an estimated $300,000 in damage. It says there was an extensive damage caused by this fire, and we cannot eliminate an electrical or mechanical malfunction as the cause. Insurance and Safety Fire Commissioner Ralph Hudgens told news source. However, my investigator found nothing that indicates any deliberate intent that was the cause either. The fire appears to have been started in a stable adjacent to the home. No injuries were reported. So, 2 fires, but nobody was hurt. How about
man, we got fires, we got storms, we got all sorts of shit that's out of the norm. We got police officers that are getting arrested. What else we got? Man, we got a lot of good stuff going on here. Let's talk about now further out in Dublin.
Oh yeah. This in Dublin, Georgia, a solar project under construction at a school in rural Georgia is challenging the electric monopoly model.
Yeah.
Workers are assembling solar panels at Dublin High School, about 130 miles southeast of Atlanta.
Why the hell not?
Okay, the deal
we pay too much for electric here.
Yeah, you're right. The deal challenges the profitable model used by Southern Company subsidiary Georgia Power and other utilities like it. State law gives Georgia Power the near exclusive right to sell electricity to customers in a government-defined region. And Georgia is one of the 6 states nationally that have laws preventing solar power companies from directly selling their electricity to utility customers. But the project in Dublin uses local government authority to skirt those restrictions. Utility companies are debating how they will get reimbursed for running the electric system if solar technology spreads and utility loses sales. So how about that? How about those apples? You have solar energy competing.
I know
with
they're apples,
electric.
but hey, who cares? They're gonna go.
I guess more like
they're
apple
going
cobbler.
off on each other. I love this shit. This morning, all the chatters are ODing on cocaine or something because they're all going off. Good to see everybody engaging each other. Good to see everybody bullshitting with each other this morning. It's good.
The Morning Roast in Smell-O-Vision.
Yes.
And smell HD.
Yeah. See what the roast is brewing, or smell what the roast is brewing. All right, listen, we got some other shit here. By the way, you know that movie I Am Legend with Will Overrated Smith?
Yeah.
And his nepotism son. Well, anyway, he did a movie a few years ago called I Am Legend. Okay, you heard of that?
Yeah.
The one with the zombies. He was like the only man left. It was kind of stupid. But the guy that made that was Richard Matheson. This guy also did, if you remember, The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
With William Shatner. He did the one with the gremlin, Nightmare at 20,000 feet.
Yeah. I Am Legend, I would guess is a remake of Omega Man. And
he did some other movies. And actually, Paul Romero, or whatever, the guy that did the zombie movie, the famous one,
Night of the Living Dead?
Night of the Living Dead. He actually stole the idea from this guy, Richard Matheson. Well, he's dead now. He died yesterday at the age of 87. During a career that spanned almost 60 years, Matheson wrote more than 25 novels and nearly 100 short stories. He did over 16 stories of The Twilight Zone. And the most famous one being the one with William Shatner. And yesterday they put it out on the Today Show, and they actually put the whole episode of Nightmare 20,000 Feet, and it still kind of sends chills down my spine. I hate driving, riding in airplanes. I really do. And it was a great episode. Well, he's now dead at 87 of brain cancer.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's what happens when you get old. And you have to deal with all the shit here on Earth.
Yeah, Seafluke says Georgia costs kilowatts at 10, I guess, 10 kilowatts an hour or something. New York costs 17, and that, well, yeah. Well, I mean, New York does have a bigger population than the state of Georgia. I mean,
well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia barely has 10 million people in its state. I mean, New York has what, almost double?
Yeah. Oh,
I guess. Well, there's 10 million. I guess since there's 10 million people in Georgia, I guess there's 17 million people in the state of New York. I guess.
Yeah.
Probably.
well, yeah, no, 19 million in the whole state.
Okay, 19.
There's about close to 9 million now, I believe, in the city alone. By the way, 56. Did he write Terror in the Sky? Is that what it was? It was not known as Terror in the Sky, but that's with Doug McClure, so maybe it's a different one. I don't know. But
that's what he just said. I want a copy of Terror in the Sky with Doug McClure. He just wrote in the chat.
Say again?
He just wrote in the chat. I want a copy of the movie Terror in the Sky.
Yeah, that's what I'm. But I don't think it was known as Terror in the Sky. It was known as A Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. But he's saying Doug McClure, and it was William Shatner who was in that episode.
Yeah, they redid that episode in the movie Twilight Zone back in 1983, 30 years ago, as a matter of fact.
Who played that version?
John Lithgow.
Things like yes.
Oh, that's right. That's right. John Lithgow played William Shatner's part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he always looks like a nervous wreck anyway, John. But William Shatner was really good in that one. I like to watch him in that movie, in that episode, was when I really got to see him, because although I used to watch Star Trek with my brother, who passed, no longer with us, he introduced me to Star Trek. I had known William Shatner from The Twilight Zone first, and I was trying to bring them together. Anyway, so once again, Richard Matheson dead at 87.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else is in the news?
Yes, I had some other. Let me see if I can get it. Making Little Leaguers are going to be featured nationally. Some here in our neck of the woods by Clinton Bourgeois from WGXA. Little Leaguers from across the country will learn the fundamentals of the game from players in Macon. The Vine Ingle All-Stars will be featured in a how-to video filmed by Championship Productions. The Iowa-based production company filmed the teams as they practice and train for the Little League All-Stars Tournament Championship. All-Stars Tournament. Championship Productions is one of the largest sports video retailers in the country. The company produces state-of-the-art instructional books and videos in 20 sports, which are sold to coaches nationwide for how-to instructions. The team is being trained by Middle Georgia native Rob Warnock, who trains on multiple levels of baseball. He says his training style, which will be featured, allows coaches with limited resources to get the maximum amount of reps for each player. It usually takes Championship Productions a couple of weeks to complete an instructional video. They hope to have it completed and available for purchase by September.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Oh, yes. In other news, there was a man wanted for a Family Dollar robbery.
Oh, God. I hope it's not the one that they're just opened down the block. Which one is this one?
Okay.
He's a nightmare at 20,000 feet.
Right.
Yes. Police need your help in finding a suspect wanted for robbing a Family Dollar store. Macon police say a robbery by sudden snatching happened at the Family Dollar store located at 2123 Pionono Avenue. Okay, that's the one next to the Kroger where Junebug was shot.
Really?
Just brand new.
No, it's farther down, closer to Rocky Creek.
Oh, really?
Sure?
Yeah. Yeah, it's in a big shopping center, dead shopping center. Like There's a bar there that had a shooting that closed down. I forgot the name of it.
Oh, okay.
That's the one I think.
So it's further down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because remember, the Dollar General, Family Dollar, they get confusing sometimes.
Okay.
And not everything's a dollar.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that's a dollar except the tax.
Yeah. Yeah. But Family Dollar there was a brand new one that just opened actually a couple of months ago next to the Kroger. But
Yeah, they're opening up everywhere.
the incident.
They're like Starbucks. Every corner you got a Family Dollar.
Yeah, the incident occurred Sunday shortly after noon. The investigators say the suspect shoved the cashier away from the cash register and snatched money from the drawer before running away. Photos from the surveillance camera shows the suspect is a black male. He's wearing a brown plaid shirt, blue jeans, and black shoes during the time of the crime. If anyone has any information, you are asked to call Macon Regional Crime Stoppers at 1-877-68-CRIME. Or the Macon Police Department at 478-750-478-751-7500.
Wow.
478-751-7500.
Well, speaking of communist revolution in America, as C-Flux mentioned, China defends itself against Washington, saying that, in fact, I'll just read the story. Hitting back at Washington over the Edward Snowden case, China said Tuesday that Hong Kong handled the matter lawfully and rejected U.S. suggestion that mainland officials had improperly intervened to allow him to flee to Moscow. Bullshit. The accusations against the Chinese government are groundless, Foreign Ministry spokesman Hua Chunying said. It is unreasonable for the United States to question Hong Kong's government handling of the affairs in accordance to the law. Bullshit. They let that guy go, although I'm somewhat a supporter of Snowden. But don't give me this bullshit. You guys had him there. You guys had the paperwork. And if it was anything else, you would have done it without a problem. The fact of the matter is you held him there so you can download all the bullshit out of his 4 computers, which I believe they did. I believe they took a lot of the information out of Snowden's computers.
We're fucked. We're fucked.
You know?
We're fucked.
Yeah, and we're fucked now, exactly. And now we're screwed over. But you know what? We get what we deserve. With all this bullshit going on and them breaking, the Fourth Amendment left and right on us, you know what? We get what we deserve. So, too bad. But the fact of the matter is everybody seems to be lying to everybody. America's not an angel in all this. So, goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye information. Goodbye relationship with China. And now Russia and his prickly Putin guy is now holding him. And you know what? He didn't show up on the airplane. He was supposed to go to Cuba. They kept him there. I bet you they're doing the same thing. Download the information. How would he say?
Download the information, please.
No.
I give you vodka.
I give you vodka. You like Super Bowl ring?
And we get you
I give you a Super Bowl ring that I
and we get you
stole.
Russian whore.
Yes, I'm a jewel thief. In reality. I can't stand that Putin guy.
He makes me want to.
He needs to grow a beard. He needs to grow a
You need
beard
to
and a
stop putting the
mustache
sound
like
effects,
me.
man, on down. That was a good one.
That guy's face looks like he's been licked by a cow.
Look like. You know what's so really messed up about that, man? Is like Vladimir Putin is supposed to have went to some type of special that he invited Jennifer Lopez to go to something, but she was getting married to Mark Anthony at the time, and I kind of think like maybe he was kind of hating on Mark Anthony because it was scheduled the same time she was supposed to get on her wedding day. Because it kind of makes me think if Jennifer Lopez would have married Vladimir Putin instead of Mark Anthony, she'd be known as J-Lo Putin.
You listen, let me tell you what happened with Vladimir Putin. All right, that guy was probably masturbating every night, and he just didn't have enough energy to screw his wife. I mean, it's so funny that they're getting a divorce. All right? Plus, his wife does look like a dog's rear end anyway. And then, of course, he's no Romeo. And so, that poor guy is probably masturbating over all the women that he sees. That's probably his problem. Can't think straight. Not healthy for you. I mean, up to a limit. I'm sure he's doing an overload. Or he's on overload. Anyway,
excuse me, let me get a disclaimer.
We're going to go from what racism to masturbation Just cereal.
Yes, the cereal.
All right, here we go.
Okay. Yeah.
What do we got?
Well, he was talking about a cereal that somehow that Captain Crunch is forced to refute claims that he's not a real captain.
Yep.
That
It's
is
true.
That's an early.
I've been eating Captain Crunch almost my whole life. I'm so disappointed.
I've been eating it so
Well,
much.
wait a second. Is Captain D really a captain?
No, I think he's on the rank of what? A lieutenant? A commander. That's right. He's on the rank of a commander. And this is the same thing that happened with Willenda crossing the Grand Canyon. He didn't cross the Grand Canyon.
Part of the Grand Canyon.
He
didn't get to the
Grand Canyon's a mile wide, man. Nobody can cross that.
Not in 6 minutes.
At least I would make sure I had a fucking parachute on my back.
Yeah.
Yep. The commander is higher than the captain in the Navy. How come he's got one less stripe?
I don't know. Well, it says here, Captain Crunch. Do you have the picture? It says Captain Crunch is forced to refute claims that he's not a real captain.
Can't hear that shit.
I'm sorry. In a month already, right
Well,
for
we saw
scandal,
it.
the internet has somehow managed to unearth perhaps the greatest controversy in recorded history.
Yeah.
Beloved cereal mascot Captain Crunch is not, in actuality, a captain.
It's terrible. They've been lying to us all these years.
God, unbelievable.
Besides the fact that they've been,
While the
bombarding us with all the sugar.
While the captain's uniform displays 3 stripes, a naval captain traditionally wears 4 stripes on his or her cuff. In other words, the captain is nothing but a lousy commander.
Actually, you know what? He looks like a fucking maitre d'. Oh, a restaurant.
With a big ass hat.
Yeah.
It wasn't long before CNN unleashed its full force of its on-air talent to get the bottom of this soggy cereal bowl of lies. So is childhood canceled? Not quite. In response to claims that he's been lying about his rank, potentially making him a criminal and a traitor, Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch took his official Twitter account to refute the allegations. It says, "We don't know how to handle the fact that Captain Crunch has been living a lie." And Captain Crunch says to A Consumerist, "All hearsay and misunderstandings. I, Captain the SS Guppy, with my crew, which makes me the official captain." Hashtag crunchitizing rumors. Yes.
This is worse than that Cheerios commercial with the interracial stuff.
Yes, he's absolutely right. Being in command of a seafaring vessel automatically entitles one to be addressed as captain, irrespective of rank. Okay. Also, as one Farker astutely notes, maybe the ranks of the breakfast cereal Navy are different. Another adds Farker, "I find it more alarming that a naval service would accept a recruit whose eyes bulge out beyond the brim of his hat."
Terrible.
Very, very terrible.
Not only that, he got a facelift like Jenner, Bruce Jenner. I mean, Captain Crunch does not look like the original Captain Crunch that I remember. He looks completely made up now. They stretch his face or they did something to it. He doesn't look like the same Captain. I'm sorry.
Commander is one rank lower than captain. Yeah, that is true. Because
Am I right?
Yeah. Because in the Army, captain is below a general.
You're talking about something else. I'm talking about his facelift.
Well, yeah, facelift. Yeah, but I mean, it's a cartoon. What you gonna do? There's always gonna be some changes. But you know what? If anything, he deserves to be considered a commander instead of captain. Simply for the fact that even though it's a tasty cereal, you need to find a way to find a way.
Yeah.
To improve the cereal more, like how to keep it from cutting up the roof of your mouth, because that Captain Crunch just tears your upper palate up to pieces.
Yeah, not only that, it's bombarded with sugar.
I'm just saying.
That's not even sugar.
I mean, look, I'm sure that Paula Deen will put it in one of her recipes to give her people more diabetes.
And butter.
Yeah, and butter.
More butter.
Barkay.
Why y'all even talking about such stupid shit? Ellen Macon, what else do we have to talk about? You wanna come up with a better subject? Then bring it out.
Speaking
Hey, come on the show, man. We got room.
Yeah, we got, I guess, 2 more.
Why don't you come on the show?
Matter of fact, I got some other breaking news. Paula Deen lost another major endorsement deal. Smithville Foods, whose hams and other products Miss Dean has endorsed since 2006, severed its relationship with her.
Smells like pork.
Smithfield, the world's largest pork producer. You have ESPN. has been the flagship in Miss Dean's collection of at least 17 licensing and endorsement partnerships.
Yeah.
At issue is Miss Dean's admission in a court disposition that she has used racial slurs and jokes that denigrate blacks. Carol Lombardo, the Smithfield spokeswoman, said in a statement, Smithfield condemns the use of offensive and discriminatory language and behavior of any kind. Smithfield is determined to be an ethical food industry leader, and it is important that our values and those of our spokespeople are properly aligned. And Smithfield announced a deal last month in which the Virginia-based food company would be sold to a Chinese pork producer for $4.72 billion.
There you go. She lost
That's
all that money.
whole lot of bacon.
Well, here's the thing. I think that what this ham company figured out was that Paula Deen was a bigger ham than they were. And they wanted to make sure that people knew who the real ham was, not Paula Deen. Anyway, she lost that endorsement deal. QVC is looking out.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyway, too bad Paula Deen. And by the way, it's been a big argument about how sincere she's been and all this other stuff. I still say that she was apologizing because she knew that the shit was about to hit the fan. And that she was going to lose a lot of money.
Okay.
And it's, but the other thing is, there was something yesterday about, remember, Kobe Bryant was making fun of gay guys and calling them effing,
F's.
the F word and all that. He got fined a few $1,000s, but they didn't throw him out of basketball. So there is kind of a double standard going on around here with these people.
Because that's LA, because he's a big...
They could say the F word in terms of, using it against gay people, but they can't use the N word because that's so much more offensive. Well, the fact of the matter is that it's all offensive.
Yeah.
It doesn't,
Well, plus,
no one's
he
more
wasn't,
equal
he
than
wasn't
the
talking
other.
about, he wasn't talking to a fellow player. Actually, he was... Yeah. He was talking to a ref that that gave him he thought gave him a bad call.
He's used it on the court very loudly where people heard it. Believe me, and there's been a few more guys in that. You should know this. You're a sports guy. You watch this stuff. I'm sure you heard it yourself.
I don't watch Lakers game because I'm not from LA. Okay. Hawks game, yeah.
Anyway. So they hit her where it hurts, in her pocket.
Yeah, pocketbook, in the slaughterhouse, but probably the poor, I would say the pigs that's in that slaughterhouse, they probably hit it even much more worse because they're getting sold for $4.72 billion.
I know. Well,
that's a whole lot of bacon.
Well, I think he was fined
I
don't think he was fined millions, but he was fined a lot of money.
That's a lot of honey glazed ham.
He was fined a lot of money. And what happened with her, Paula Deen, I'm talking about, is the fact that her PR people didn't know how to handle this stuff. And they really made her look even worse by putting out those stupid-ass videos of her, apologizing. I beg you, my family, my friends, my staff, my people, and you. Never mind.
I have to admit, though, your southern accent is actually getting better.
Oh, thank you. Y'all. I know this feels like a kick in the balls.
Your mother's a Howard.
Your mother's a Howard.
Your mother's a Howard, Irvin. Stop.
But I won't say that. I'll take that back. Yeah, I've seen the tape. It was horrible.
Speaking of which, just to prove that not all black people think, oh, she should be putting, I just want to share this one statement that Troy Copeland put out.
Okay, who the hell is this guy?
He's a professor, I think, in West Virginia. He's a former classmate of mine and
cool.
of mine.
I knew you have friends that were professors.
Yes, I have two of them, at least two or three of them. He says, because I don't know Paula Deen, the fact that she used the infamous N-word when no black people were around doesn't bother me. Neither does it surprise me. If she is, in fact, like stereotypical Southerners who are fond of such words and their heritages that produce them, she has at least one or two black friends and Jewish, Hispanic, Asian, homosexual, etc. friends whom she generally loves as individuals. And while that doesn't excuse or redeem her personal penchant for savagery, it greatly complicates the issue. For example, many of her most outspoken critics, especially those hailing from different regions of the country, stridently decry racism against blacks, but have avoided every opportunity to actually know any African Americans. They are afraid to know us. And when they are so fortunate as to meet us, they limit their interpretation of such individuals to the overly reductive lens of whatever Marxist concept they read in a textbook or absorbed in a classroom. This, too, can be deeply insulting, exceedingly harmful, and morally wrong. But none of those people, many of whom are celebrities, are going to lose their jobs for being simple. Either way, what is lost in both deems a romanticized ideal of a highly racialized South, her dream of planning a wedding at a plantation with presumably stupid African Americans paid to pretend to be slaves, and the ideal of a world in which the barbaric and racist, sexist, homophobic, etc. things people said and did 30 years ago or even 15 minutes ago must be grounds for merciless retribution, is an appreciation for humanity. Sure, we've all come a long way since the antebellum mansions and Nat Turner's rebellion. But I wish we could go a bit further and be insulted, outraged, confused, angry, etc. in dealing with one another for all the truly brainless things we do according to all the sometimes tragically ridiculous ways we see and experience the world.
Yeah.
And remain committed to meaningful and productive relationships.
There you go.
Nevertheless, that's what I think for what it's worth.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's true. I mean, look, what she said it, and it only showed her ignorance, how slow she is to learning this stuff. And by the way, there was a video put out also 2 years or a year ago where she was on some show and she wanted to prove a point. She's like saying, that guy there, he's one of my best friends, he's blacker than that board behind me. Mm-hmm. And then she brings out a guy that looks like the guy from Driving Miss Daisy. And, look, this is her life. This is the way she understands the world. Mm-hmm. And now she's paying for it. Mm-hmm. So leave it alone. I'm sure there are other people who said the worst. C-Flood said it best. W. Camus Bell covered it for her very well. Her cooking is more harmful to blacks than others, than anything she can say. And that's true. Mm-hmm. Her cooking is bad. Now she's a spokeswoman for diabetes, America, diabetes. Whatever.
Or if you're Wilford Brimley, diabetes.
Diabetes, but of course her food has not changed. It's still anti-diabetic.
Yeah.
All the butter and salt and sugar.
Yeah, I mean you could just limit to sugar. Well, you could limit your sugar. You could use sugar in the raw.
Yeah.
Or any other type of sweetener. I mean, to replace that. I mean, you can do that if she. I mean, hopefully she has like any alternative stuff if that person happens to be diabetic.
Yeah.
I would say probably use that new one, Splenda or Stevia or something like that, or sugar in the raw. But I wouldn't get if you can't use sugar, the white sugar. Use one of those others.
No.
But definitely not equal.
Right.
Because they got aspartame that's supposed to be cancer causing.
By the way, this whole issue, and I'm not going to name out, but this whole issue is not about a comedian. Again, a comedian is a comedian. They're in a different realm. They can almost get away with murder. She is not a comedian.
Yeah.
She is a woman who people respect and honored and supported. And there's something funny about the N-word, especially when you're using it in the term that she was using, which was just like everyday language to her. It was like, it was so normal to her that she uses it without even thinking about what people feel. A comedian knows what he's saying, and he does it intentionally. And a comedian is a comedian. She's not a comedian. As a matter of fact, she's not funny at all. And I agree with that cow. 3000. Her voice is effing annoying.
Yeah, well, we know anyone with diabetes knows that they can't account. She's cooking for the majority, which we know that majority doesn't have diabetes, but that number is quickly growing because the South, especially Louisiana, the South has the fattest people in the country.
Obesity
with obesity. I mean,
I know. I ride the buses here.
I saw a video. I gotta find it. the fattest country in the world. It was funny. I forgot where it is.
Here?
Yeah, I gotta find the video.
Yeah, it's America.
Everybody's fat.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, people all over the world make fun of us. I mean, in France and London, everyone knows as see that fat bloke over there? Hey, he's a Yank. Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, everyone knows that we're fat.
Let him be fat. Hey, when the zombie apocalypse comes, there's more to go around.
Yeah.
Well,
That's kind of bad, man. If we wait for the zombies to help us lose weight, that's
terrible.
messed up.
That's terrible.
You that doggone fat. Jeez.
By the way, you're right, Bean. It is everyday language in the black population. They call each other the word all the time.
I mean, Bean, it's no different than when women call each other the B word.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Do you condemn women for calling each other B's? I mean,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, look, and again, everybody's using this language. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's guilty of it, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that people, when they do it, they do it in front of each other, but they're not on, they're not
National
famous
TV.
on national television, peddling unhealthy food and being a two-face about it. And then playing stupid when they get caught. Like, oh, I didn't mean it. Y'all got me all wrong. Bullcrap.
Mr.
All right?
Dumpster Baby.
Just own up to it. Apologize sincerely. Give reason why it's bad to say, and maybe teach somebody about why it's wrong. But instead, she chose to be more feeling bad about her pocket and herself.
Yeah, B, it's an everyday language with some people in the black population.
Yeah,
I don't use it. It's not anything, not every black person. I mean,
that's true.
Mr. Dumpster Baby said something like Franklin D. Roosevelt snubbed Jesse Owens after the Nazi Olympics 36 Olympic Games in Berlin because Jesse Owens was given more respect by Adolf Hitler. Well, Adolf Hitler actually left because he
was pissed off.
He was pissed off that we're gonna find who the master race is, and you have this one black guy just winning 4 gold medals. You can't. How you gonna say you the master race? You have this one person.
Adolf Hitler didn't even talk to him.
He
didn't even acknowledge him. I mean, he was just pissed off that he won.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that. Dumpster.
I remember.
I hate to disagree with you.
Speaking of which, I used to talk. I remember we were talking about that back in college. Like, do you think what would have happened if Jesse Owens wasn't on the Olympic team? Do you think World War II would have started earlier than before? It started earlier than 1939?
I don't think Jesse Owens had anything to do with World War II at all. If nothing else, it made. Maybe Adolf Hitler pissed him off. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm going to go after that country.
So Hitler congratulated Owens? I guess he must have done it privately. Well, that's what Mr. Dumpster Baby said. And and send Owens a signed picture. FDR shook the hands of the white athletes, but not Owens. Maybe read Owens' book.
All right, well, could you send us a picture of that Dumpster Baby?
Yeah,
of Adolf Hitler shaking Jesse Owens' hands,
or at least give a link.
What I know in history, he left the stadium all pissed off.
Because I was just thinking, I was talking to my friend. This is back when we were in college. And it's like, had Jesse Owens didn't win those Olympic gold medals or wasn't on the team, it probably would have justified Hitler and to think that they really were a quote unquote master race, and World War II would have started much earlier. Because 1936, he wanted to prove that they are the master race, and which obviously proven wrong. Because
listen, maybe I don't know history as well as you do, Dumpster Baby. So why don't you enlighten us instead of just spitting out stuff that may not be a fact? Why don't you, I'm going to trust it, but why don't you verify that? Send us a link, and we'll be happy to put it out.
Okay.
Hitler had he's saying Hitler had a certain time to come to the stadium and a certain time to leave. It happened, he had to leave before the victory ceremony after 100 meters. But before he left, I was on my way to a broadcast and passed near his box. What? He waved at me and waved back. I think it was bad taste to criticize a man of the hour in another country. Quote from Owens' book.
Wow.
Okay, he put up the link.
He put up the link, so
I
guess
this is good.
It makes sense. Okay, James Cleveland, Jesse Owens, born September 12th, 1913, died March 13th, 1980. So this, born 1913, so this year he would have been 100 years old this upcoming September. How about that?
Well, where is his statement? Okay, there it is. I won the gold medal, blah, 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 blah. Just before the competition, I was visited by...
All right, there it is. He had the...
Hitler had a certain time to come to the stadium, a certain time to leave. It happened in the Okay, amen. Well, this is what, WikiLeaks?
Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia. Isn't this the one that's helping Snowden escape?
That's a whole lot of wiki. That's a whole wiki subject.
Well, I stand corrected. There you go, dumpster baby.
Wow.
Maybe Adolf Hitler had sex with him afterwards.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Anyway,
he just wanted to say.
Talking about sex now?
No, that way.
Thank you, dumpster baby. I love that. I love that our chatters
when does the porn
engage.
Start?
I
don't know yet. But anyway, it's going on 8:58.
Here's another one. Seaflux just sent out. Did Hitler shake hands with Jesse Owens? Oh, the question is, it has been long regarded the greatest sporting history snub in history when Adolf Hitler stormed out of the Olympic Stadium. You see, everybody thinks that he was snubbed because Germany had been humiliated by a black man. The moment was 1936, and was incredible American athlete called Jesse Owens had just run his way to the first goal of four gold medals of 100 meters. Hitler was shaking hands the previous day with all German Olympic winners. Left the stadium furious that his Aryan Superman had beaten by their supposed racial inferior. Let me see. Or so the story goes. But now a veteran sports reporter in Germany has come forward to claim that though Hitler did indeed leave the stadium after the race, it was not before shaking Jesse Owens' hands. There you go. There's another story. And then Sigrid Michner, 83, claimed that Owens carried around a photograph in his wallet of the Fuhrer doing just that. There you go. So maybe Adolf Hitler wasn't such a bad guy.
No, I'll take the other hand.
No.
Anytime anybody offers to shake your hand, choose the other hand.
Why not?
Stay guard.
I'm sure he was proud of it.
Because that's the hand they probably masturbated with.
Yeah, won't.
Yeah, think?
I mean, why would you carry around a picture of Adolf Hitler in your wallet and try to prove a point that, you know what? He killed 6 million Jews. He destroyed his own country.
But he shook a black guy's hand.
But at least he shook a black guy's hand. At least he
That's like saying, well, yeah, the train ran on time when you shook a black man's hand. Gee, that's...
Hey, what's his name said, Muslims wipe their butts with their left hand. Well, remember they were talking about the pork-coated bullets? How about pork-impregnated toilet paper?
Well, I guess maybe,
Too much says, I see nothing. Whatever that means.
I don't want to see it.
Anyway. Well, okay. Anyway, Jesse Owens admits that Adolf Hitler shook his hand. And, I guess he's better than, Adolf Hitler, that is.
Yeah,
better than most people now, the way they think of
so Hitler was still a bastard, but only responded to the comment that Roosevelt said, nobody can make you feel inferior. My point is Roosevelt was a racist. Words can do a lot of damage. Well,
yeah, absolutely. I'm with you, dumpster baby. That I always say. Words can do a lot of damage. That's why Paula Deen needs to own up to her word. You just made my point very clear. Words can do a lot of damage. All right, we're going on break. It's 9:01.
Yep, 9:01.
We're going to go on a first break. We're going to come back, guys. Don't leave. We got some more stories. We have a spinning statue that's like a mummified, came from a mummy's tomb.
Yeah, and also have another story coming about a teenager stabbed and killed over a piece of chicken.
Wow.
You're watching the Morning Roast.
Chicken, motherfucker.
Yeah, you're watching the Morning Roast live from the Nut House. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Obama's cat.
Okay.
That cat.
Airlines should check after gassing up the plane is the toilet paper situation. United Airlines didn't, and here we are. Hey guys, I'm Patrick Jones for Buzz 60. It wasn't you could have taken a train instead type of flight either. The passengers were on a 10-hour flight from San Francisco to London. Of course, the people on board were able to improvise. There were plenty of napkins. And even though it's not the end of the world, obviously people were rather unhappy. United apologized for the hiccup and is inviting the passengers back so it can make nice. It added, had they stopped to restock the TP, the plane would have been late. So pick your poison. But it's just another debacle for the company that's ranked towards the bottom among airlines in the American Customer Satisfaction Index for a few years now. The lack of TP doesn't help. But then again, if you had to pick, at least they didn't forget the booze too. Buzz 60, now you know, pass it on.
Hotel near the airport, accidentally shot and killed himself. They say surveillance video tells this entire story. Fox 5's George Franco is live with new details tonight for us. George? Tom, the shooting occurred inside this lobby behind me, and police tell us the video shows two things primarily: that the gunman accidentally shot himself and that the clerk never had a gun.
He comes in, looks around.
Police say this man wearing dark shades and a white cap entered the Travel Lodge Sunday afternoon around 12:30. He first buys a snack, a honey bun, then heads into the lobby where he munches on it before asking for change for a $50.
So that's my cousin coming out. He's going to ask for change for the $50. So he puts the $50 bill right there.
Police say as the clerk, 19-year-old Rajesh Patel, is handing over the change, the man pulls a gun and attempts to rob him. APD's lead homicide investigator says Patel grabbed the gun barrel, apparently as the first shot went off, and that the gunman accidentally shot himself in the head when the pistol jerked back.
There's two shots were fired, and successively. So one hit my cousin and one other guy hit by himself,
So the suspect shot himself?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from the detectives.
The gunman was killed on the scene. Police originally reported Mr. Patel was armed, but after reviewing the video, now say the gun fell away from the suspect, landing near Mr. Patel. But he never had a gun.
No, he never had a gun, and we don't keep a gun at the front desk, as of right now.
Are you going to now?
Probably not.
The video shows a man and woman in the lobby when the shooting occurred. They were unhurt, but Mr. Patel was shot in the stomach and is recovering at Grady Hospital.
We're glad. My cousin's okay. That's the main concern for us, and it could have gone any way.
Mr. Patel's family says they expect him to be released from the hospital as early as tomorrow. The name of the man who was killed here has not been released because his family has not been told. Live tonight in Atlanta, I'm George Franco, Fox 5 News.
Amazing video, George. Thanks.
Somewhere in the woods of Central Florida, we promised we wouldn't say exactly where, Jonathan Simpkins is about to tackle the largest yellow jacket nest he's ever seen. Simpkins is the owner of Insect IQ. He has a degree in entomology from the University of Florida, and he shot this video himself. Simpkins was called by the property owner to get rid of the nest.
The nest was extremely dangerous because I had so many yellow jackets on me, they kept finding a way in.
Simpkins says the nest was more than 6.5 feet tall and 8 feet wide.
With the southern yellow jacket, they developed multiple queens the second, third, and fourth year. So this nest did not have one queen. It has thousands of queens in there.
And he says it had millions of workers. As Simpkins goes in to check out the nest, the defenders come out to sting him. Just listen as they attack his camera. And even though the nest was in a remote area, he says it could have been deadly if someone walked up to it. We also can't show you how Simpkins took care of it. That's a trade secret. But after he did the job, the results are obvious.
Poor Winnie the
That
Pooh.
was one to remember.
It was so exciting. It was one of the best times in my business and professional career to deal with something like this.
just one big clump.
And what was that play you were working on the other day that you tried out for? What was the name of that play?
Oh yeah, bee sting.
Yeah, bee sting. There you go.
It's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy. Very interesting.
Well, that was. I don't ever want to interrupt that. By the way, let me just say, that was. It looked like a big clump of crap, didn't it?
Yeah. But the thing is, unlike bees make honey. There's just a big ass loft for yellow jackets right there. Yellow jackets and
they don't make honey.
They don't make honey. They just
sting the shit out of you.
Yeah, they just sting the crap out of you. Yeah.
I don't like yellow jackets. We got a lot of them in New York. Oh my God! But that was in Tampa. Could you imagine walking up to that thing by mistake?
Oh yeah, you kiss your butt goodbye.
You'll die. It's like in the movies.
That's like the ants they got now that eat them through your wires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Damn mutant bugs.
Yeah. You're right. A flamethrower.
Monsanto.
Mm-hmm. I got a bunch of some anthills over in my backyard, man, because of those old tree stumps that were left, after they cut down the trees from
dried out.
Yeah, dried out, and all of a sudden they just move in and just pass. Like, jeez.
Good morning, Shorty Brave 72. Actually, let's go down our line now that we're on our second leg of this wonderful show.
Yes, we have welcome C. Fluke, DS Photo Guide, The Bean, Ellen Macon, Ashley 34. Welcome Funky Dillo, Michelle Stacy. By the way, you're all right. Georgia is bad for fire ants. Yep. Also, Mr. Dumpster Baby, Nical 3000, Shorty Brave 72, Morning Rose, and Too Much, and all of our unnamed guests whose numbers sound like inmate.
Yeah.
2633 now 553577555455444564458. So to the big haired guy in the back.
Yeah, Georgia is bad for fire ants for sure. Now there's another ant that's come here.
N.E.M.
Okay.
No, more ants. We got rid of one big ant. No, we didn't. Actually, but
butter.
Butter.
More butter on it.
More butter.
Ant Bean.
Ant Bean.
The Ant King. There you go. What else? Adam Ant.
Yes.
Let's not forget. What else?
Atom Ant. The cartoon.
Huh?
Atom Ant.
I got one thing for you. Never trust an atom. They make up everything.
By the way, this guy that died, this Matheson guy, he also wrote The Incredible Shrinking Man. Remember that?
Yeah.
He did a lot of stuff. I can't believe he's gone. Oh.
Yeah. Well, so didn't Lily Tomlin made a movie like that? A funny one called but I guess it may have been inspired by called Incredible Shrinking Woman.
Yeah, well, they ripped it off. And now they ripped off, I remember the 50-foot woman. Mm-hmm. Then they had the 50-foot man.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
Anyway. Incredible Shrinking Man must have been before the invention of Viagra. Yeah.
Yes.
That's true. Could you imagine a 50-foot man? What a schlong look like? Wow. Must have been 12 feet long. Alright, what else is in the news, Derek?
Well, I just wanted to say it's 70 degrees right outside of Macon, Georgia, with a high of 88 and low of 71. There may be some scatter showers, even though it is sunny right now, but don't let the sunlight fool you.
Don't let the sun go down on me.
Yes. Thank you, Freddie Mercury.
Let's see.
Oh yes, there's some local news. The new tax income could mean fewer cuts for Bibb Board of Education. The Bibb County's Board of Education budget for fiscal year 2014 is still not approved.
I know.
The board met for the final adoption of the budget, but some new information regarding some extra income put that vote on hold. It says that we've heard from Sharon Roberts, our CFO, that the tax digest is looking promising, which might surprise a lot of the people that the property values and the property digest is looking good. That the tax receivables are improving in Bibb County, and we've had some concern, some of us on the board, about the counselors, the reduction in force. There are still 7 counselor positions we would like to bring back, which is about $500,000 in the budget, said Jason Downey of the Bibb BOE. So the board passed a spending resolution for July, which means For that month, the board will operate on 1/12 of the fiscal year 2013 annual budget until August, when either another spending resolution is passed or the 2014 budget is approved.
Yeah. Well, don't know what to say about that, but all I know is a lot of these teachers buy the books, and they do a lot of that stuff. I guess that's all for salary.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
All right, what else we got?
I did have some other news. There was a 3-car accident in Lawrence County, kills 1 and injures 8 others.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
The Georgia State Patrol continues to investigate a fatal weekend 3-car accident in Lawrence County. A Ford Expedition was stopped in the roadway on US 319 Sunday afternoon while attempting to make a left turn when it was hit in the rear by a Kia. The Kia then turned around into the northbound lane where it was hit on the driver's side by a Ford Explorer. A passenger in the Kia was killed. The driver was critically injured. 2 children in the Kia, 2 people in the Explorer, and 4 people in the Expedition were also injured and taken to the Medical Center of Central Georgia for treatment. As of Monday afternoon, yesterday, the identity of the person killed and those injured were not made available as of yet.
Wow. So, all right, well,
we'll have updates on that.
Talk about a budget crunch. Once again, it's always education here gets hit and slammed. And
definitely.
What else can I say? What else do you have? You have more Georgia news.
Yes. Georgia GOP leaders vote to withdraw from Common Core.
All right, I'm not understanding this headline. What is this about? Is this another bullshit non-story?
Well, it's just one of the stories, I guess, from the state government. In Atlanta, leaders of Georgia's Republican Party have voted to press state officials to withdraw from a national program that creates a basic set of educational standards. Party leaders vote unanimously Saturday to ask that the state withdraw from Common Core, an initiative aimed at creating basic reading, math, and language arts requirements. The initiative has been adopted by 45 states and the District of Columbia. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports that Georgia Republicans want to withdraw from the program because they feel that state officials should remain control over Georgia's educational standards. The federal government was not involved in creating Common Core, but has encouraged states to adopt standards under its Race to the Top grant competition. Adoption of the Common Core standards has also met opposition from local school boards. So there's another story about education.
I guess. Well, we got to come up with some weird news, I guess. Here we go. There's an Iowa man who's getting questioned about selling coffins because it's got some bones in it. An Iowa man online classified as offering an ad offering an oak coffin for sale, neglected to mention the full skeleton inside.
Whoa.
So police interrupted the deal and seized the bone. The Council Bluffs Daily, Nora Pally reported that the coffin belonged to a now defunct Coffin Bluffs chapter of the International Order of Odd Fellows, which promotes anonymous giving to the poor.
Right.
I guess this is a guy who was buried in a pauper's grave.
Yeah.
You know. Dave Bergstrom placed an ad on Craigslist. Go figure. Website to sell the coffin for $12,000 because he's trying to raise money to pay property taxes on the fraternal organization's hall. So this is a guy that was involved somehow with this. Bergstrom said the coffin was made in the 1900s and had been used in the group's rituals to represent death.
Wow.
The bones hadn't been in there for years. They were just there as long as anyone could remember, who is one of a handful of remaining members of the Council Bluffs chapter of Odd Fellows. Boy, this is an odd story, ain't it?
Yeah, very.
I mean, listen, you know.
That is something.
I wonder what the bones were worth.
As much as that.
They were getting free bones with it.
I was about to say, was it compared to like the Elephant Man's bones?
Maybe. Michael Jackson paid a few $1 million for the Elephant Man's bones.
Yes, yes. Speaking of which, today is the 4th anniversary of the death of Michael Jackson, who died.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was happy.
What else are you going to say? We celebrate everything. We celebrate, today's the 4th anniversary, the death of this guy who jumped off the bridge and blah, blah, blah. Today is the 3rd anniversary of the divorce of this one. We celebrate everything. Today is the 6th anniversary of this woman who got a period at 9 years old.
And what do you do when you drink? When you celebrate? You drink.
Say again?
We're as bad as the Russians. We give every excuse to drink.
Jesus, we celebrate everything.
Cinco de Mayo, yes.
Happy anniversary to the death of Michael Jackson.
I love it. Somebody said, "What's Cinco de Mayo mean?" What the hell you living under, a fucking rock?
Anyway, oh, by the way, Michael Jackson's daughter's really serious. I mean, she really was trying to commit suicide. They said her cuts in her wrists were a lot worse than was reported. Go figure. News has always got it wrong. Go ahead, Derek. You had a story?
Well, yeah, I had a story.
Keyed up?
Definitely keyed up. It was about Clarence Thomas was saying that he compares affirmative action to slavery and segregation in opinion. Now, says that in a fiery concurring opinion on Monday, yesterday, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas said the University of Texas at Austin's admissions policy amounted to discrimination and compared the school affirmative action program to slavery and segregation. Now, he says that he wrote in his separate opinion on Fisher versus University of Texas at Austin, the slaveholders all argued that slavery was a positive good that civilized blacks and elevated them in every dimension of life. A century later, segregationists similarly asserted that segregation was not only benign but good for black students. Thomas cited Brown versus Board of Education, the landmark 1954 Supreme Court case that led to the desegregation of public schools, in drawing a comparison between segregation and affirmative action. He adds that following in these inauspicious footsteps, the university would have believed us that its discrimination is likewise benign. I think the lessons of history is clear enough. Racial discrimination is never benign, he wrote in his 20-page opinion. The university's professed good intentions cannot excuse its outright racial discrimination any more than such intentions justified in the now denounced arguments of slaveholders and segregationists. UT's Austin's admissions policy grants the top 10% of graduating Texas seniors a spot in the freshman class and then fills out the class using a race-conscious system. Abigail Fisher, the plaintiff to the case, claims the policy constitutes racial preference. Thomas said the policy hurts those black and Hispanic students who are admitted more than those who are not. This is, although cloaked in good intentions, the university's racial tinkering harms the very people it claims to be helping, he wrote. And of course, I know a lot of people think it's quite ironic that he would be against affirmative action because he's the only sitting African-American justice and a member of the court's conservative wing. He is Thomas is the court's most notable critic of race as a factor in college admissions, and he blamed Yale Law School's affirmative action program for making his degree worth 15 cents, and said he had difficulty finding a job after graduation. Which is kind of weird considering that he would have been able to get his position in the U.S. Supreme Court in one of affirmative action. But, go figure.
You think affirmative action got Clarence Thompson in Supreme Court?
It's possible. I'm not saying it was the only.
Maybe they were looking for a black guy to put on Supreme Court.
Well, yeah, because
who was the one that appointed him? Reagan, right?
No, George Bush first.
Yeah,
Bush Senior.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but then again, there's also some other stuff that it may be because his wife who's white, is also distantly related to the Bush family. But that's
I don't know. I don't think affirmative action had to do anything with it. I think it was more, it was political and maybe it smelled like it, But I don't think they used the law of affirmative action. What are they thinking now? I think they just want a black guy in there, maybe. Who knows? And somebody that was as anti-black as him. It would just played right to both ends,
Yeah. But speaking of which, the woman who filed the lawsuit, Abigail Noel Fisher, she won the lawsuit that challenged the rejection of her application into the school in 2008 when she was a senior ranked 82nd in her class of 674 at Stephen F. Austin's high school in Houston, Texas of Sugar Land. Houston suburb of Sugar Land, according to a lawsuit she filed against the university. Its decision on whether race-conscious admission policies violated the rights of some white applicants. The Supreme Court affirmed the use of race in the admissions process, but made it hard for institutions to use such policies to achieve diversities. The Justice 7-1 decision threw the case back to the lower courts for further review.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of ironic because she's a white female, because she also can go through the college through affirmative action, because affirmative action says it only works. I mean, white males or I mean, it doesn't apply that at least that much as a very rare incidents. But no, most of the time, affirmative action usually helps minorities and women. It doesn't say what race or ethnicity the woman is. As long if you happen to be a minority or a woman, you can get in a college through affirmative action.
Well, she was white and she was a woman, but
and white women get through college just through affirmative action also. So that's why I'm still trying to figure out.
Possibly. By the way, what if education smarts got him the job? Is what Michelle Stacy saying. Maybe he was just suited for the job, not because he was black, but because of his resume. That may be true, but remember, there was also the sexual harassment charge that was brought against
by Anita Hill,
by Thomas, and boy, they went at the bat for that guy. I mean, they made sure that he was on there. If it was anybody else, they would have asked him to resign. But because they maybe wanted to fill that quota to make sure that it was more important to have a black guy on the Supreme Court.
Because Thurgood Marshall was the first black guy, yeah.
And exactly, there was already a black guy on the Supreme Court.
Who was getting ready to retire anyway.
He was getting ready to retire. They wanted to replace him with somebody else.
Another black guy.
And even more conservative. Believe me, there was something going on there, and even having that woman coming up and talking about something, which I still believe today happened, he still was left in. Yeah. Anybody else would have been gone just by the impression.
No doubt, I don't disagree with you. But however, I am kind of suspicious why she waited a whole 10 years. Like none of this stuff ever happened. I mean, usually if something like that were that serious, it would be right on the spot. You would be sued, or at least someone filed charges on you. I don't think, why would you wait a whole decade?
Well, remember, you're not a rape victim. You're not you're not a victim of this kind of abuse. And so, you can't assume that, why would she wait that long? Maybe some people take 20 years. Look at what's happening with these priests, these pedophile priests. All these young men are coming out 20, 30 years later. I mean, it just happened.
Yeah, but you just wait till that person just happened to get a job and all of a sudden now you want to say,
I mean, look at the priests. I mean, all I'm saying is it's possible that happens because maybe what it does is when they just happen to get this job, they wake up and wait a minute. No, this is not going to happen. This guy shouldn't be happening to get this job. Let me go after him. Who knows? But all I'm saying is it's very possible that, she held back because it was this is what it is being. Everything about the show is racial. So, I mean, we should be used to it by now.
I mean, the thing is, it just kind of be really coincidental that is, I mean, you would, back in 1981, I mean, if it was that, somebody should have said something on it. I mean, she couldn't have been the only person that Clarence Thomas was harassing at that particular time. I mean, I mean, it just swept under the rug.
Unfortunately, it's a reality of our life. We have no escape from it.
Yes. I mean, it's just really just strange. And plus, the thing that really gets me talking about, I found a pubic hair in my coat. First of all, you're both black. Your hair's gonna be nappy the way it is. How do you know it's a freaking pubic hair and not the hair on your freaking scalp? I mean, come on. It's gonna be nappy no matter where you get it from. Whether here. I mean, come on. It's just. All right, well, I don't know. It's just shrimp and seafood platter vibes all over. Just fishy as it want to be. I'm just saying. It just smells really fishy.
Well, look, we're going to change the subject now.
Okay.
Pakistan premier and former military ruler would be charged with treason. This is Prime Minister Sharif. If you guys remember, he was during a time when we were having all this trouble with Pakistan. He came to America trying to, in a suit, and trying to pony up to us.
Yeah.
Well, he's now going to be charged with treason. Said Monday that his newly installed government intended to press treason charges against the former military ruler Perez Musharraf. That's who the guy is, Perez Musharraf. He's the guy that's getting set with treason. The new guy, Nawaz Sharif, is going after him, setting up a potential clash with Pakistan's powerful military. In a speech to Parliament on Monday that was sharply critical of military rule, Mr. Sharif said Mr. Musharraf had to answer for his acts during his years in power, comments that drew loud applause from Sharif's supporters. But the government has stopped short of pressing formal charges against Musharraf because Mr. Sharif had said he wants to first consult the country's other political parties, casting some doubt on whether the case will proceed. So Pakistan's having trouble. Again, they got military, they got nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
So this country is scary.
Yeah, very scary.
Very scary. And by the way, there was just recently a whole bunch of people were killed. They were going up a mountain. I have the story up. I can't find it now. But in Pakistan, one of them was an American. A lot of tourists were killed by the hoo-has over there hiding in the mountains. The Taliban. So, I don't know. The world is crazy.
Whoa, you just figured that out? It's been crazy for a long motherfucking time.
A long time.
And you know what? One thing that I see all these people on Facebook bitching about this and bitching about that. You know, all I do is bitch. Nobody actually steps forward to do anything. If you're gonna bitch, then do something about it. If you ain't gonna do part of the solution, then step back.
Yeah.
And shut the fuck
Well,
up.
unfortunately, the world is in chaos, and not only that, there's not much that you can do about it. So the least that you can do is at least voice and vent some steam.
Oh my God! I was just reading what Michelle Stacy said.
All right, here we go. What else?
I was just reading what Michelle Stacy said to my chick. Called my son a quote unquote a little retard. He is handicapped, so I called her the N-word. She called me a racist, and that I had no right calling her that. WTF? What the hell? What you call the child a retard? Yeah. She said, no matter what, you shouldn't have called me that. No matter. I was like, get the fuck out. I will call GTFO. I will call you everything but a tree if you mess with my son. Well, yeah, that's. I would too.
I don't blame you.
I don't blame you. I'm not going to have someone make fun of my child or my niece and nephews. I'm sorry. Yeah, and
and that's the problem. I mean, this is what we live in. This is the world that we live in. In a way, that's a discrimination. You know, I'm sorry. I mean, I hate to wake everybody up. It's like you don't want to talk about it. That's a problem. That everybody is in denial, and this is why it continues to go on. Yeah, I think we have to continue to talk about it to remind people how sickening it is until hopefully everybody will just shut up and move beyond the racial barriers that we have, which still exist. I mean, like, but if you don't talk about it, you're in denial.
Yeah, when we talk about, like, what was her name, Miss Fisher, who was at the University of Texas, who filed, you know, her offense about not being able to admit in, you know, suit against the system of the University of Texas at Austin that didn't allow her because of affirmative action. Now, there was a similar story to this where it had, like, Jenny Gratz back in 1995. She applied for admission during the fall of 1995 for the University of Michigan, and she was denied. And she said it was she basically filed for the suit, the same thing like Fisher did, but she was unsuccessful because even though she said that even though there were a lot of black students and Hispanic students that didn't that had lower SAT scores than she did but were accepted to the university, her case was thrown out because she forgot to mention the 1,100 white students who had lower SAT scores. Well, the case wasn't
really thrown out. What happened with the case, it kind of clarified what the rules of the road are, which is, okay, affirmative action stand, but now you have to kind of prove that you are not doing what this woman is saying. Yeah. So she got what she wanted, which is, you know, I think affirmative action was kind of loosely thrown around, just like, you know,
Yeah.
the cheese that they gave on the line, welfare cheese. You remember
Well,
that?
yeah. Welfare cheese.
I think they were just throwing this stuff around. At least now,
Yes.
it's not stricter rules, but more clarified rules.
But sometimes, like I said, it's not
So she
necessarily.
didn't lose.
Yeah, I mean,
She actually won.
But Jenny Grass,
nobody lost.
Yeah, but the thing about Jenny Grass' case, though,
Nobody
people,
won either.
people didn't thought it was just hogwash, because even though people are saying, well, people are getting in because of affirmative action or something, like because of the black and brown students stuff, but there's also the 1,100 white students that got in before Jenny Grass did. That also, even though they also had lower SAT scores than Jenny Grass, but they were accepted as well. So how does she explain that?
Well, well, who knows? But all I'm saying is I'm glad that they reviewed it, and now everybody has to sit tight and prove your point. Prove your point why you want this black guy other than just race. It should be looking at other factors, which I think everybody wanted anyway. Now they go in on the merits. And that's going to go for both the white and the black, I hope.
Yes. There was a story that Ed sent me. It's only a video. I don't know if you have the video.
I don't know what
It's basically this guy who raised $200,000 to build a toy. Oh, you? Okay. But it's really
it's one way to retire.
Yeah, it's something else. I mean, it's supposedly a game controller that replicates the look and feel of an assault rifle, and he raised $200,000 to build this toy gun video game controller.
Yeah.
So if you have that ready, just roll that beautiful beam footage.
Got a video.
Whoopie-doo. You can give me a little warning next time. Let me know. Send me a message or something like that. I gotta find this shit. You know what I mean? Keep going, man. I gotta find it, man.
But anyway, speaking of, I guess victimization or trying not to avoid being a victim, there's a phone scam which says don't fall victim to this new phone scam.
This is a public service announcement, folks.
I played the video yesterday.
Oh, you did?
About the warrants. The phone scam, the warrant phone scam.
Oh, yeah.
I played the video yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you already did?
Yeah,
we already
guys
did
were
it.
listening to it.
Okay.
Well, let's go on
Go
with
ahead,
this
talk
one.
about it again, but
Okay.
yeah, I played
But it says, well, there's a new phone scam growing in Middle Georgia and involves a person pretending to be a call from a law enforcement agency. Amanda Lucas never thought of answering the phone one Saturday afternoon that may lead her to a night behind bars. It says, I was in shock. I was shaking my head up until the point I handed my husband the phone. I wasn't sure if I was going to spend the night in jail or in bed, Lucas said. The mother of 3-year-old Saxon received a call from a man claiming to be from the Kathleen Police Department. After he stated her name and address and asked her to confirm it, he told her there was a bench warrant out for her arrest because she failed to appear in court on a speeding ticket in May, a ticket Lucas never received from the department she knew didn't exist. She said, I told him again I was not aware that there was a Kathleen Police Department, and at that time I told him he could speak with my husband, who was a deputy sheriff. She said, when I handed the phone to him, my husband, the man had hung up, which is probably good because he was in law enforcement also. Lucas also became a victim of the bench warrant scam that's growing around the U.S. The Better Business Bureau CEO Kevin Collins said it hasn't involved a scammer using a law enforcement agency's name until now. It says it's really a takeoff of what we know as a jury duty scam, he said. Our consumers would get a call saying they missed jury duty and there's been a bench warrant sworn out for their arrest. So this is just another little twist. They can lure someone some information out of consumers. That includes a person's social security, bank account numbers, and other personal information. It says this is very effective because of our fear of getting in trouble when we did nothing wrong, he said. Some law enforcement agencies said they're unaware of this scam. However, handling a bench warrant is not done with a phone call. Remember that. We generally want to go see them because if we mail you a letter and tell you there's a warrant out for you, it's likely you may not show up and you'll try to skip town, Bibb County Sheriff David Davis said. It says if a scammer does call the house, Collins and Davis suggest asking for the name of the law enforcement agency and looking up their number. Do not call the number the person gives you. Also, report the incident to your local law enforcement. If you give out your information, Collins advises to file a police report and fill out an identity theft form or call the Better Business Bureau at 478-742-79999. Lucas remains shaken up but wants not to go through the same thing. Okay, we have the video of the that $200,000 game controller. So roll that video footage.
Call of Duty, the military-style video game franchise, has sold more than 125 million copies. Games like this one are among the most popular in the gaming industry, but they are simple toys compared to the Delta 6. So this is the Delta 6?
Yes.
What is it?
The Delta 6 is a realistic gaming gun.
An inventor in Miami is developing a controller that he hopes will change the way gamers play. It's a video game controller designed to replicate the look and feel of the G36 semi-automatic rifle.
If I do my job right, you're going to feel like you're shooting a real gun.
David Kotkin runs Avenger Advantage. Like a lot of inventors, he works from home, but don't be fooled by the living room workspace. Sales of his 2010 Avenger controller allowed him to retire from his career as a high school art teacher.
It's not just the realism that's different than most gaming guns, it's the functioning.
To reload, tap the magazine. To steady the shot, pull the Delta 6 in closer.
So basically when I go like that, it's zooming.
A sensor helps to simulate peering through the scope.
What you want to do is hold it like this.
And Kotkin wanted me to feel a feature of the controller.
We have a wheel in there, an actuator that spins, and then every time you shoot, it shakes a little bit and gives you that feeling of that, rounds are happening.
Kotkin says he came up with the idea for the Delta 6 after his wife made him get rid of his real guns.
I started doing this, and when I put the headphones on and the kickback, I don't have, it satisfies that need of shooting.
He invested $50,000 of his own money to build prototypes, then raised almost $200,000 online to mass produce it.
What has your wife said about this?
She thinks it's a nightmare. She thinks it's disgusting. She thinks it's terrible.
Possibly because she knows that violent video games have attracted some now infamous players. According to investigators, the shooters in the Newtown, Virginia Tech, Norway, and Columbine tragedies were all shooting game fanatics. Still, Kotkin doesn't see the harm.
This cannot hurt anybody. This is electronics inside of this. This is just a regular controller.
But is it training the player to hurt someone?
Well, you have a point there. Have I made it too good? Sometimes I wonder.
Kotkin acknowledges the controller is not for everyone, especially children. He says he's looking beyond his critics.
I can't be worried about this person or that person, or my wife even. I have to think, okay, how can I make this great? As long as it's my morality is I'm not hurting anyone, I can live with it. I can do it.
I can just see the stories now.
Mm-hmm.
Man tries to ride bank with the event.
Here's the problem that I see with all this, Ed. All right? And yeah, there's going to be people complaining about this, like me. Because once again, they're glorifying this freaking gun that everybody is so and seems so addicted to. Everybody thinks that the gun is it's so glorified that it's gotten out of hand. To me, it's gotten way out of hand. This is like, a drug now, and everybody's walking around creating the same drug in different way. I don't know. To me, this seems more like an obsession. I wish that people would be making more crosses and writing more literature and being addicted to that kind of stuff instead of a stupid-ass gun, which is what I'm so against. I mean, this guy is investing all his money in creating this toy gun that's going to make everybody feel like they're really shooting a real gun. And what's going to happen is it's just like a drug where you start out slow and then you build up until you have the real one. This is only going to be so-called a leader to people wanting more guns and more real guns and more ammunition and more power to kill people. This is all that guns are invented for. Guns are invented to kill people. Guns are invented to kill animals. Guns are invented to kill people. And that is the problem that I have. I don't understand this whole mindset of people loving, glorifying, screwing, masturbating over guns. I don't know what in the world is going on. But that's reality.
Yeah, I was just reading what the people saying on the chat room. Says Michelle Stacy says, my son plays with those games all the time. He is 12 and he has never been in a fight. He is very passive. He knows it's only a game. He says too much. Says you only need one out of the millions dumpsters. And Mr. Dumpster Baby, Mr. Dumpster said, what about the millions of people who play games and don't go on a killing spree? 99.99999% of people who play games don't kill people. It says, but the 1% do kill, you know,
Right.
and 1%. Says the guest says, you're free because Americans are their guns.
Yeah, Michelle Stacy, if everyone had guns, crime would lessen is like a ridiculous statement, to be honest. Because everyone does have guns, it seems like. And crime's not going to lessen. I'll tell you why. Because nobody has the gumption and the idea and the balls and the any kind of education to say, you know what, I have a gun, I'm not going to use it until I have to. Guess what? They're going to use it anyway. They're going to use it whenever they get mad. Thank God I don't own a gun. I can't tell you how many times I would have used that.
Yeah,
in a fit of rage and anger.
Well, Too Much agrees with you. It says because he thinks that Michelle in 564 are wrong. It says, well, Too Much, when someone holds a gun to you, which I hope never happens, let's see if you wish you had one. It says, no, not everyone has one. If a criminal knew that when he broke into a house, the owner had a gun, he would think twice.
Well, he would think twice about where it is so he can get to it.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, I guarantee you this. If George Zimmerman didn't have a gun...
And these stupid-ass gun owners don't even know how to put it right.
I'll tell you this much. If George Zimmerman didn't have a gun, both people would still be alive. He wouldn't even he would have been trying to check down Trayvon Martin in his car. That's for doggone sure. I bet he would have stayed in his car.
Well, and
that's for sure.
I'll tell you one thing. Look, I'm not knocking people that own guns. What I'm knocking is the mindset that they have of owning a gun. Oh, it's about protection. Listen, once you bring a gun to the table, you're raising the bar in terms of what if that gun is used against you. I don't think you're going to be standing there saying, oh, I'm still going to be an advocate for gun control, because you're not even going to be around by the time they shoot your ass with your own gun. And that's the problem. If you own a gun, you need to might as well take up karate, might as well take up something that you better hold on to that gun, because if you're a stupid ass like most of these guys, they don't even know how to shoot a gun right. But they don't even go
yeah, but all they need is one bullet, though. I mean,
what if that gun is turned against you? And, you know, guns weigh a lot. Some of them weigh up to like 3-4 pounds. That's a lot of weight on your hand. Somebody can knock that shit right out of your hand.
Yeah, but what if...
And grab it and shoot your ass.
Yeah, but there's some women who get... Well, they make guns for women now. 22 and 25 caliber. They could just easily put it in their pocket where their iPhone
that's only the main. Those guns don't really... I mean, unless you point it to the head and you got to come real close. A 22 ain't going to do much. But, you know, again, all citizens here in Georgia are allowed to have a gun. Except, of course... I guess
if you're a criminal,
if you're a felon,
yeah.
But
exactly.
But even the felons seem to have guns. That's the point. There's got to be a way that we can manage this better. And then people that own guns don't even keep them locked up the way they should. Not everyone. Some do. Some do. But from what I gather, most, where a little child usually gets it, you've seen what's been happening. Yeah. Little kids grabbing a gun and shooting their little sibling or their father. Or whatever. They don't even know how to put them away. They don't know how to lock them up. They put them in a drawer. They put them on their bed, on the mattress. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. If you're gonna own a gun, you need to get educated on how to handle it. Right. I think that should be mandatory for every gun owner. That before you own a gun, you're gonna have to go to some guy, just like you do with a car. You gotta go pay some classes to have a car. And unless you're a brilliant scientist, you can pass the test. But most of the time, you still have to go and get classes to drive a car.
Okay. For those who do like video games, I mean, not necessarily all of them have to be violent. There is two new games that's coming up, which I happened to check out. They actually brought up last night on WWE's Monday Night Raw. They have a brand new video game that you can get on your iPhone, which is also available at Amazon and iTunes. they have one called the WWE Rockalypse, where basically you have Dwayne The Rock Johnson who fights these zombies. That's coming out on iTunes and Amazon.com. Also, there's a brand new video game, WWE's WrestleMania, WWE's Wrestling 2K14. 2K14 WWE is out. Is getting ready to pre-order. This month is ready to pre-order. You can get that at any, I guess, electronics store that sells video games like GameStop, Best Buy, what have you. I heard that. So anyone who loves to watch, well, or at least to play wrestling, even if it's on a video game doesn't have anything involved with guns, you could check that out. You could pre-order it right and available to pre-order. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking on the new video games? Which leads into, when I go into sports. Of course, if you were under a rock last night, Chicago Blackhawks, the comeback kings, have won their second Stanley Cup championship in the NHL, their second one in 4 years. They rallied back to win the Stanley Cup and beat the Boston Bruins 3-2. Boston was on its way to force a Game 7 and Game 6 at Boston, by the way. And like what we say, yeah, the win or go home. Well, it looks like at least Boston's have to go home, but at least it'll be a short trip since they lost at home. They were on the Boston actually had the lead earlier in the game, around the second or third period, 2-1. But Chicago came back and win 3-2. So they win their second Stanley Cup. So congratulations to the Chicago Blackhawks winning the Stanley Cup Finals. So now hockey season and basketball season for the 2012-2013 season is over. It won't start back again until November when Major League Baseball is finished. In other sports news, Nadal was stunned at Wimbledon in first round by Darcy. Just like that, in a span of 15 days, Rafael Nadal went from the French Open champion for a record 8 time to a first round Grand Slam loser in the first time of his career. Limping occasionally and slower than usual, but unwilling afterward to blame an old left knee injury, the 2-time Wimbledon winner lost 7-6, 7-6, and 6-4 against 130 ranked Steve Darvis of Belgium, a Belgian tennis player. One of the most stunning results ever at the All England Club. Nobody can actually. Who would have thought that? You're like the number one or the top 5 tennis player in the world. You in the top 5. You get beat by someone who's ranked number 135 at Wimbledon. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Crazy, right? I know. Hold your suspension, Irv and Ed. Oh, jeez. Yes. Also in baseball, Cleveland beat Baltimore 5-2. Tampa Bay Rays beat Toronto 4-1. LA Dodgers toppled San Francisco Giants 3-1, and the San Diego Padres beat Philadelphia Phillies 4-3. Also, in other news, the Kevin Durant became the first NBA player to sign with Jay-Z's Rock Nation agency. As you know, Jay-Z got his license as a sports agent, which as well as being a part owner of the Brooklyn Nets basketball team. Durant posed for a photo op on social media of himself and the rap mogul. With the paperwork, JC became certified as a representative by the NBA Players Association last week. The Oklahoma City star, an Olympic gold medalist who had a field goal percentage over 50, a three-point percentage over 40%, and a free throw percentage over 90%, leaves agent Rob Pelinka to sign with Rock Nation. Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. Jay-Z is the rap pen name of Sean Carter. And also, what else in new?
What's the name of that woman that used to be famous for shooting people? I mean, shooting.
Annie Oakley?
Yeah, Michelle, you feel like you're like Annie Oakley. She's all that.
And
obviously, she's a gun lover.
And yesterday,
probably has it by a pillow.
And by the way, yesterday afternoon, the Miami Heat had their ticker tape parade, celebrating their championship over the San Antonio Spurs earlier this week. So this is a celebration. They had their ticker tape parade in downtown Miami. The Miami Heat won their third championship for the franchise history. There's their back-to-back. It's a back-to-back win over the one they won last year, and LeBron was MVP. So they had their ticker tape rates. So congratulations again to the Miami Heat in the NBA championship, and also, like I said before, congratulations to Chicago Blackhawks winning the Stanley Cup last night on NBC. And that's all your sports.
Well, Annie Oakley was awesome. I agree. She didn't go around shooting people up. And she could have. I mean, the way she was treated by her boyfriend at the time, or what's his name? The other guy that was famous.
What, Wild Bill Hickok?
No, the Annie Oakley. Annie Oakley's boyfriend. Anyway.
I don't know.
He was very famous. He was the first gun shooter. And
Jesse James?
Huh?
Jesse James?
No. I'll remember. Somebody remember. But, and she could have. And not only that, but there was another woman that was pretty good at guns who lied about Annie Oakley, and Annie Oakley sued her. Mm-hmm. And she could have gone and shoot her ass off as well. But Annie Oakley was a real lady. Real lady.
Buffalo Bill, that's it.
Buffalo Bill, that's right. And Annie Oakley was a real lady.
Yeah.
She didn't go around shooting people.
Exactly.
And she could have. And she, in some cases, maybe should have. I don't advocate it, but shoot, I mean, it would have been understandable at that time. She was being treated like shit at that time.
And who didn't get treated like crap in the Wild West? I mean, it was actually the most...
I'm sure you're a lady, Michelle Stacy, but the way you talk, you sound more like Rambo. Anyway. Rambo.
Well, speaking of carrying a knife to a gunfight, there's a DC... Ridiculous. Yeah, this is a really sad story, too. DC teenager stabbed and killed over a piece of chicken, which I talked about earlier in the hour. Ernest Hart was at a family cookout in Washington, D.C. when the joyous occasion became tragic due to a disagreement about food. According to the reports, Hart, 17 years old, and Antonio Shaw, 25 years old, got into an argument over a piece of chicken. The argument soon became violent, and Shaw stabbed Hart in the neck. The teen fell to the ground as blood dripped from his neck. Hart was rushed to the emergency room, but he eventually died at the hospital. Shaw, who was a friend of Hart's family, has been arrested and charged with second-degree murder.
Wow. Terrible. They
fighting over some chicken.
Over a piece of chicken that you're going to eat and shit out later on. It's not like the sneakers even.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the guy down the road here, about 3 years ago,
mm-hmm.
he got shot in the knee he walked with 2 pieces of chicken.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted his chicken. Right down the road here, Church's Chicken.
Mm-hmm. Don't they know you can always reorder chicken? Jeez.
Give me that goddamn chicken.
Anyway. Michelle, just pretend like you're shooting everybody that's talking about you in the head, and I'm sure it'll make you feel better.
Dang, man. I mean, the stuff going on, people going crazy, you know. I mean, one person shot because,
yeah, well,
over a bus ride, one gets shot over a piece of chicken. Like, what is this world coming up to? And he didn't use a gun, he used a knife. Now, what you going to ban cutlery now? We got to eat nothing but Hot Pockets, then shoot, people going to start bashing people over the head with microwave because give me your Hot Pocket. Now, I mean, some things you just can't just ban. You just can't ban away with stuff like that.
Twinkies.
I'm just saying. Twinkies.
Ban Twinkies. They're fattening.
Yeah. See, and no one ain't got. I ain't heard of nobody got shot by a freaking stab for a Twinkie.
I ain't never seen nobody get stabbed with a Twinkie. Maybe suffocated.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, diabetes, but they ain't got stabbed.
Diabetes.
Or diabetes.
As what's his name? So what's his name again?
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah, diabetes.
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 Yes.
Anyway.
Great Google.
Michelle, calm down. You know, I'm afraid that if they get you too riled up, you may in fact go out and shoot people. So,
Take pictures and videos.
It's all right.
Send the videos to us if you do. We need.
Yeah, we need some strong
more
women
news.
with guns.
I had some.
Why the hell not? I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
my
make your own
goodness.
news.
Well, yeah. You know, I'm sure I would rather have you in a foxhole than half of these hobos that are around.
Yeah, half of these hobos.
At least you'll do the shooting while I stand there watch.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, Dumpster Baby said, Michelle, I'm sure you're lovely, but some people shouldn't have guns. If your reaction is to reach for a gun, if somebody demands your money, you shouldn't have a gun for your own safety. It's true. Money's not worth killing somebody over. And that's the problem. They justify using the gun at every point, at every juncture, at every time that they feel threatened. Give them the freaking money. Let them go. Maybe they need it.
You're right.
You know?
Definitely right.
I don't think that that you need to kill somebody over money. I'm sorry. That shit comes back. You can't get a life back. And this is the problem that I have with gun owners. They justify everything. Somebody approaches me and I feel threatened, I'm going to shoot him. Maybe they just wanted to ask you where the next bus stop is. Maybe all they wanted to do was talk to you up close. I mean, come on. This is what I'm afraid of. They're also paranoid. And they're also masturbating with their guns. Sleeping in it under their pillows, kissing them every morning. Saying, good morning, my gun.
Hey, we had a viewer out there who talked about sticking a gun in her vagina, remember?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I know, man.
There was somebody who blew his nuts off with a gun. You remember that?
Yeah.
Smariglio.
Yeah, Smariglio.
Spiriglio.
They don't even know how to clean the gun.
I know, man. You know, you were talking about Miley Cyrus. She was twerking. There was I'm trying to find the video. I'm just gonna go ahead and just send the link in case we have
a video of her song.
Oh, no, this was a whole totally different story.
Wow.
It was about like this Call of Duty. He got Call of Booty. There's a new twerk team in town. Female members of the Israeli Defense Force have been posting photos and video of themselves turning the Holy Land into a strip club. According to the New York Daily News, scantily clad members of the IDF turned their rifles into stripper poles and filmed themselves dropping it like it's hot. The Sir Mix-a-Lot's baby got back. So they twerking with the guns. Twerking with the guns.
Yeah,
twerking with the guns.
Now they're twerking with it. Oh, see? My Lord. What are they doing with it? Shoving it up their ass? Rubbing up against your gun with their butt.
You be the judge on that. I'm posting the link right now as we speak. It is now going on 10:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. It is 73 degrees and sunny so far right now.
This is too much.
Too much. I mean, too much gun, too much booty. What can you do to get that?
Too much Miley Cyrus.
I'm trying to rhyme. I know. Thank you. It's 10:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time.
We'll be back for the last. Oh, by the way, we're going to leave a little short today. I've got to go see my surgeon, I guess.
Yes.
And he's getting snipped.
Yeah. That's an 11 o'clock appointment. Unfortunately, we're going to close out the show half an hour early today. I'm sure you guys need to blow off some steam anyway after this show. And so I'm sure you'll be grateful for that extra half an hour so you don't go out and shoot somebody in the anger that you have against gun control. We'll be back.
A week later, Angie and Dr. Vuong arrive in Guam.
Well, look, that is a sign that Guam is having a huge problem. One was severely overweight.
6 out of 10 adults here are overweight or obese. Guam's most overweight man is getting anxious. He knows he's going to be weighed by Dr. Vuong.
I'm feeling nervous about seeing him today because I should have actually been losing some weight.
His wife Cheryl is worried too.
I know for a fact I'm gonna get scolded. No matter how much I try, I always tend to give in to my husband. And it's really hard because my husband wears the pants of this relationship, you know? It's crazy.
My hope for today, for this meeting, is to hear that doctor actually say that we can go through the surgery and we can take the steps to prepare me for my journey to come. I'm willing to try my best. My one goal and my one goal only is to get my life back.
Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
Hey, Rick. Doing good, honey. How are you?
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Been a long time. Looking forward to meeting you.
First, Dr. Huang must weigh Ricky. Once an estimated 900 pounds, he was last weighed at 775 pounds.
Good.
By now, he was supposed to lose another 100.
Ricky, take your time.
You're just barely on. That's good. That's cool.
Ricky weighs in at just under 700 pounds. But no one believes this is accurate. He had to lean against the furniture while standing, which ended up taking some of the load. Ricky has failed to lose any weight.
Security videos reveal incompetence as much as dishonesty. Take this would-be robber, for instance. He strolls into a building society and hands over a demand note. Almost instantly, he finds himself in trouble. All he has to do is pull the door open, but for some reason, he thinks he has to push it.
Excuse me, there's a customer here, and if you don't open the door, you don't open the door.
Eventually, he escapes and is still at large.
A Memphis family claims all they wanted was a new ice cream cone, but what they got was a beatdown. Action News 5's Janice Proch joins us now with the exclusive video. Janice?
Well, this is video of that beatdown at a Fraser Burger King, and now customers Diane Dunlap and her then 17-year-old daughter Dynesha Claiborne are suing for millions.
I've been in a lot of fast food restaurants in my time, but never seen one that exhibited this kind of behavior by the employees. It's a shocking.
Attorney Robert Spence has filed this lawsuit against the owner and manager of this Fraser Burger King, as well as Burger King Corporation. It involves a fight in September last year inside the restaurant with two customers who wanted an ice cream cone and employees. Spence says a mother and her 17-year-old daughter came to the Burger King to study. They ordered an ice cream cone, but when the manager sneezed into her hands before making it, they asked for another one. Now look at this video. It shows the mother and daughter in the far right corner packing up their computers to leave. Then an employee rushes them and the fight begins. You can see the manager in white joining the fight with the 17-year-old. There's another fight in the lower left corner with the mother.
A metal frame.
Spence says at one point employees grabbed metal advertising frames, using them as weapons. The fight eventually ends, but the police were called and they took a report. Spence says the mother and daughter tried to work something out with Burger King corporate. When that didn't work, they hired Spence, who also tried to work something out with Burger King. I wanted to talk with the owner of this Fraser Burger King, Benny Marshall. A very polite manager called his office.
They said no comment.
No comment. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Now, no one was ever charged in the fight. I tried to contact Burger King corporate headquarters in Miami several times, but never got an answer. Claiborne and Dunlap are asking for $3 million. Live in the studio, Janice Broach.
Another male has managed to clamber onto the female's back, and they made after a relatively short time.
This should be a lesson to all the guys out there. The praying
The mating
mantis
can
female
take from a
eats their
few
mate
minutes to several hours, depending on
after
the
they mate.
species. In the case of this African species, known as Phodromatus, copulation tends to be a protracted affair. Once the mating is over, the male is in deadly danger. In this case, timing is everything. In this instance, his fate is sealed. The female was much too quick for him and starts eating her mate alive.
Mm-hmm.
This post-coital cannibalism may strike us as extraordinarily callous. But the male is quite simply the nearest high-energy meal around, just right to ensure that the eggs in the female's body mature faster.
If you get done eating me, I'm gonna eat you. You guys ready? Yeah, let that be a lesson to all you out there. Be glad you ain't no praying mantis.
That was like watching buck porno.
Yeah.
Never thought of it that way, but yeah.
Think about it.
Well, it's like
if I was a bug, I'd be masturbating.
If you consider two goats doing that, I guess that's kitty porn.
Ew.
Jamming, baby. You're jamming. I had a shirt that used to say jamming.
But man, that's
I gave it to Goodwill.
So what's the lesson with just say no if you're a male praying mantis, or just jerk off instead of just praying?
Well, no, but that was a big
Both hands. That way, you make them wonder next time you shake their hand.
Oh, by the way, did you see the ugliest dog contest winner? It's a short little like mixed dog, right? Got a bad back and all that.
The ugliest dog?
The ugliest dog, right? But the thing about it was that he was on the Today Show. This dog has got a penis about this big, and nobody wanted to say anything about it. Of course. It's a short little dog with a big head and a little body and little short feet. They could kind of look like piglet feet. And a penis about half the size of his body. And nobody was saying anything about it, but of course you could tell that the women were laughing about it. Yes. Yeah, he was ugly, but he had a beautiful face. But
so
I know that dog's got a gun on him.
There's a butterface in reverse, right?
That dog's got a rifle on him. Anyway, shows a gun on him.
I got the video. You want to watch it?
Oh, you got it? Yeah. Let's look at the ugly dog's penis. I mean, the ugly dog winner. He's a beautiful dog. He's got a beautiful face. Nice. He looks like, I don't know, kind of a pit hound look to him. Anyway, what else is in the news? What else do we got? Oh, Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
Nelson Mandela is still alive, and they're trying to. I think they're gonna mummify this guy. I mean, goodness gracious. The way they're trying to keep him alive, my concern is that they're going to do it despite himself out of fear that the country's going to go into some kind of rioting, you know? So I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned about this, the way they're handling this. Former South African President Nelson Mandela has now spent more than 60 days in a hospital from a recurring lung infection. Nelson Mandela's condition in a Pretoria hospital remained critical for the second straight day, Monday. Said it was South Africa's president described the stricken anti-apartheid hero as being asleep when he visited Mandela the previous evening. President Zuma told at least 60 foreign and South African journalists that doctors are doing everything possible to ensure the 94-year-old's well-being and comfort on the 17th day in the hospital. The president repeated some of the content of the presidential statement issued Sunday and refused to give any details about Mandela's condition. I'm not a doctor. That's what he said. The thing is, my concern is if the old man wants to go, let him go.
Okay.
And my fear is that they want to deal with this guy because they're afraid of what may come about, and that's ridiculous. I mean, if he's 94 years old, let him go already.
Yeah. I guess Ed gave me a quick the word origin.
Okay, I found it.
Okay.
I'm trying to find that video.
Yes. While he's looking for it, I have the word origins already.
I got
Good.
it.
Oh, you have?
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
Here they come. Okay, so they're not going to win any beauty pageants, and You might cross the street in your neighborhood if you see them, but that doesn't mean these ugly dogs don't deserve love too. For the 25th year, Petaluma in California is putting on the world's ugliest dog contest. These not-so-beautiful beauties will strut down the dog walk as they try to take home the title. If you can't make it to California to watch the awkwardness in person, don't worry, you can vote online for your favorites. How about Mudley, Creature, Spam-O-Rama, or, wait for it, Rat Dog? And even though the online vote is just for fun, it won't actually help choose the winner. Things have gotten so competitive, the organizers actually had to put a warning on their website telling people not to hack in and rig the vote. Seriously, guys, these votes don't even count. Among other things, the winner of the main event will get $1,500 and a professional photo shoot.
No, well, these are the contestants, but they didn't show the winner. The winner was on the Today Show. Those dogs were uglier, believe me, than this dog. The only thing that was wrong with this dog was that he's got a big head. He looked exactly almost like Scrappy-Doo. Remember Scrappy-Doo? He looked like Scrappy-Doo.
That's Scooby-Doo's little nephew.
Scooby-Doo's little nephew with the big head and the little body.
Papa Power.
Yeah, he looked just like... Yeah, that's what I saw.
Wow.
That it was ugly about him. His little body, little feet. His front feet look kind of. They look weird. Very short. Maybe whatever.
Speaking of words, here's a word origins. Here's a word that definitely that Scooby-Doo and Shaggy would like. Today's word is hors d'oeuvre.
Hors d'oeuvre.
Or horse divers.
Horse divers.
Horse Scooby.
Hors d'oeuvre.
Yes, hors d'oeuvre. Hors d'oeuvre. In French, hors d'oeuvre means literally outside the work. That is not part of the ordinary set of courses in a meal. The earliest record of its use in English is the general sense out of the ordinary. The frenzy of one who is given up for a lunatic is a frenzy hors d'oeuvre, something which is singular in its kind, which by Joseph Addison in Spectator periodical back in 1714. But this did not survive beyond the 18th century. Alexander Pope in his Dunciad, 1742, was the first to use the word in its modern culinary sense. French oeuvre, work, incidentally comes from the Latin opera, work, source of related copious, maneuver, opera, operate, and opulent. So how about that? We get those words from hors d'oeuvres, from Word Origins by John Ato.
Hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres.
I'm
and
sure
also,
that Dumpster Baby loves to walk his dog and give him hors d'oeuvres all day.
Wow, and we have the who said it first, and who said this phrase first, or this term, the Big Apple. It says the first known connection between an apple and New York City came by way of a rather esoteric mention in Edward Sanford Martin's book, The Wayfarer in New York in 1909. He referred to the perception that the people of the Midwest had of the big city, and 32 of the proportion of the nation's wealth it attracted. An image was engendered of New York as a giant tree, with its roots reaching to distant states and coasts. However, the tree's fruit showed little affection for the source of its nourishment. New York could therefore be seen as the Big Apple, commandeering an unfair share of the national sap. Referring to New York in connection with an apple is also believed to have occurred among jazz musicians, referring to booking at a prestigious venue. But Big Apple never really achieved public usage until it was heard by John J. Fitzgerald. He was a sports journalist who, when visiting racetracks in New Orleans, became aware not of musicians but of stable hands referring to New York as the Big Apple, meaning the big time. He found the phrase evocative and, when he got back to New York, decided to use it as the title of his Morning Telegraph sports column. In February 1924, Fitzgerald wrote, "The Big Apple, the dream of every lad that ever threw a leg over a thoroughbred and the goal of all horsemen. There was only one Big Apple, that's New York. The term gradually came into public usage, eventually such wide public usage that in 1971, Big Apple became the official advertising slogan of New York City, and in tribute to John J. Fitzgerald, who helped make the term famous, the corner of Broadway and 54th Street, where he lived for 30 years, was renamed Big Apple Corner in 1997.
You ever been to an apple orchard?
Maybe once, I guess.
They're wonderful. The whole area smells sweet.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of rotten apples on the ground. That's about the only bad thing. But, hey.
Well, yeah. Fruit's
it was
supposed to
fun
smell sweet, so
going there. By the way, did you know that before we go to our daily bread, did you know that our daily cup of coffee is going up at Starbucks by a penny?
What?
Actually, 1%. 1%. Which at, how much is it a cup now? $2.75 a cup? For one of those frappuccinos, up to $7, I think?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, Starbucks is charging customers a little bit more to help them get up Tuesday morning, today. As the coffee chain raised the prices on many of its drinks. The prices are going up an average of 1% on brewed coffee, tea, latte, and espresso drinks. Spokesman Jim Olsen told CNN Money last week. While drink prices vary from city to city, Olsen says the price hike boost will boost the price of the tall brewed coffee by about a dime. Unfreaking believable. This coffee, I call it Charbucks. Because it tastes like that coffee at the bottom of the well of the coffee urn that's been overbrewed and overcooked. I hate that coffee.
Wow.
Listen, I don't hate a lot of things. I hate Starbucks.
It could be worse though. It could be, you could be getting that coffee that's from that little weasel type character in Central America someplace. You have to pay like $300.
Yeah, their coffee tastes like monkey shit coffee and that other elephant dung coffee. It's awful coffee. I don't know why people. You see, this is why I say people who are stuck on Starbucks, a lot of them are gun owners.
Yeah.
That's why they're all wired up, ready to shoot somebody in the ass. I'm just saying. It may not be a fact, but shit.
But
I'd like to ask them. Take a poll.
Speaking of food, or fast food for that matter, what did you think about that video of the Burger King beatdown? I mean, last year we talked about Rayon McIntosh, who had to beat off, basically had to beat off a crazed patron at a McDonald's last year because she threatened to cut him with a box cutter, then slapped him in the face, spat on him, and then drove over the counter to fight him. And then he had to beat him on with a freaking skillet or iron rod to get her off of me. You know, unbeknownst to her, unbeknownst to the crazed patient, that Wayne McIntosh just got out of jail. But the thing is, I don't understand why you're going to fight a person. You know, it's crazy. I mean, you know, did Rayon McIntosh taught those trainers? Did they train those people over at Burger King? I don't know. I mean, they had this Burger King beatdown, according to the story, and I mean, they wanted an ice cream cone, and the person sneezed and something, and all of a sudden, according to the video, these people were studying, supposedly studying at Burger King. They had their laptops out. Then all of a sudden, the manager and one other trainee just all of a sudden started fighting the people. The people didn't even bother. The patients didn't even bother the manager. All of a sudden, according to the video, the manager and them went to them and started fighting. Like, what's up with that? What's going on with that? I mean, you have the Mc ass whooping in McDonald's last year. Now you got to worry about the Burger King beatdown. What's next? You're gonna have wrecking havoc at Hardee's or something? You know?
Is there even Hardee's left anymore? I haven't heard of it.
Are they gonna be
hurry on down to Hardee's?
You know, feel the whirlwind at Wendy's?
Burgers are charcoal broiled.
Blam!
My man.
Or even worse, you have like a slaughter at Subway. Oh! Thank you very much. I know.
What would you say? Oh, you got run over by a Subway sandwich.
I really
No,
did.
you didn't.
Yeah,
you
I
didn't
did.
say
Subway
that way.
slaughter.
Well,
That's like that.
They have those in New York
That
all
guy
the
in
time.
that video.
Uh-huh.
He could be a poster child for McDonald's. I'm lugging it.
Ugh.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, he makes Grimace look skinny.
Oh Lord! All right, here we go. We're gonna talk about our daily bread. Hopefully, you people can calm down once we bring a little bit of Jesus and a little bit of God in your lives, besides the God of guns.
Well, yeah, because
most of you like to worship guns.
Someone need to pray for that fat dude. You go on.
Exactly. Country doctor. That's what we all need. Is a good country doctor. Which, by the way, I'm gonna go down and see today. This is for June 25th, 2013 by Dennis Fisher. Sinclair Lewis novel, Main Street, tells the story of Carol, a sophisticated city woman who marries a country doctor. Kind of like Green Acres, remember that? She feels superior to others in her new small town environment. But her husband's response to a medical crisis challenges her snobbery. An immigrant farmer terribly injures his arm, which needs to be amputated. Carol watches with admiration as her husband speaks comforting words to the injured man and his distraught wife. The physician's warmth and servant attitude challenges Carol's prideful mindset. In all our relationships as Jesus followers, we can choose to think we're superior, or we can humbly serve the interests of others. Paul the Apostle tells us, let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you work not only for the good of his own interests, but also for the interests of others. Philippians 2:3-4. Why are you covering your ears, Ed? Is it too Christian for you? We can learn to consider others' needs more important than our own, as we can focus on Jesus' example. He took the form of a bondservant and gave himself up, verse 5-8. When we fall in valuing others, his sacrifice shows us the humble, better way. More like the master I would ever be. More of his meekness, more humility. More zeal to labor, more courage to be true, more consecration for the work he bids me to do. Gabriel. Joy comes from putting others' welfare ahead of your own. And today's reading in Philippians 2:1-11. Let nothing be through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each other esteem others better than himself. There you have it. Our daily bread.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone for being with us. Thank you for staying with us. DS Photo Guy, Gecko Lizard, Dylan Macon, Ashley 34, Funky Dillo, Michelle Stacy. Please don't shoot nobody. Just joking. Mr. Dumpster Baby, Nical 3000, Morning Rose Too Much, and all our guests with the numerous
Thanks for
names.
having me.
Thanks for having me. Okay, thank you.
Well, you said the Morning Rose, so.
Well, you had two. Well, okay. I thought you.
Oh, it might, yeah, sometimes it shows up twice.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Thank you for.
There's only one Morning Rose.
Only one?
There's only one Morning Rose.
That's right. The
Only
rest of them
one.
are a bunch of copycats.
Yeah.
But like I always said, imitation is a form of flattery.
Mm-hmm.
When people imitate me and my voice and my mannerism, I love it. Don't matter.
Oh
to me.
yeah. Yeah, but.
All right. Sometimes I get annoyed.
Yeah, we just.
Especially on the bad ones.
Just want to say thank you for watching, and it's 75 degrees outside of Macon, Georgia. It's sunny for right now, but there's supposed to be some later scattered showers and thunderstorms with a high of 87 and a low of 71. Definitely take care of yourselves, and please don't get beat up at Burger King or McDonald's. We already have some stuff because we don't want to have our friends and our
The smartest thing is don't go out to eat, make your own goddamn food, because you never know what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
Oh, fell on the floor. That's okay. We'll just throw it back on the bun.
You know what's so cool, guys?
Taco
And thank
Bell.
you, all our supporters. But we are going out as #1 today.
How about that?
And it's nice to go out on the top today.
Definitely. And definitely.
Why not?
That's very good. Watch out for yourself, man, because you don't want to get a ass whipping or a beat down at Burger King or a bombardment at White House, as Mr. Dumpster Baby says.
By the way, Michelle Stacy, we love you. Thank you for coming and stay on. I mean, come on, girl.
And Mr.
We
Dumpster
need more
Baby
gun,
said, Panic at
owning
Pizza Hut.
women. Most of the gun owners on here are men. It's kind of nice to have a woman's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's kind of the same as the guys, but hey.
Yes.
It's all good. We love you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
And we'll see you tomorrow. And remember, next
Thank
time,
you, Dumpster.
can you smell what the roast is brewing? We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
I'm gonna